sports bet for free. Sign up now for free and have fun at BetRivers.net. The Rock Station. Eagle 98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day is on.
Presented by your local Super Chevy dealers and Home Bank. Good for business, good for life.
This is LSU football.
Shotgun snap. Looking to throw is Daniels. Heaves it towards the left corner of the end zone. Thomas goes up, pulls it out of the air. Brian Thomas Jr. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Daniels again, design run, goes left, cuts back right, gets to the 5, tries to stretch it towards the pylon. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers.
LSU football on Eagle 98.1, the flagship home of the Tigers. Today from Tiger Stadium, it's the LSU Tigers
And the Ole Miss Rebels.
Now,
Here's Charles Sandegriff and Matt Musso.
From Rouse's corner of Burbank and Lee, welcome to Eagle 98.1 Game Day as we get ready to walk you up to today's kickoff between the LSU Tigers and the Ole Miss Rebels. LSU comes in with a record of 5-2, 3-1 in the Southeastern Conference. And last week, LSU went to Florida and beat the Gators by a score of 45-35. If it was an offensive renaissance last week, then the key painter was the quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Daniels had his best day as a Tiger, throwing for well over 300 yards in an offensive explosion that had been, frankly, asked for and a long time coming. Daniels was able to keep the Tigers within one score throughout the first half, something that LSU had struggled to do in their previous 3 conference games. While the defense wasn't as sharp, they did enough to keep Anthony Richardson intact, even with the 81-yard run in the second half. And the Tigers kicked a late field goal, which, at least for the moment, put a little bit of salve on the wound of the special teams problems that LSU has been having for most of the season. The Tigers come home today with a renewed confidence and a top 10 opponent waiting for them. That top 10 opponent is the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss is 7-0, 3-0 in the Southeastern Conference, and they rank 7th in the nation by the Associated Press. Lane Kiffin's team still likes to go fast. They've run the second most offensive plays in the Southeastern Conference, but those plays that they're running are more of a run base. The top rushing team in the league by a lot. Kiffin has eschewed some of the passing game that he has favored in the past for a 3-pronged running attack that last week drug Auburn for over 400 yards on the ground. The biggest knock on Ole Miss is that they have not yet played a high-quality opponent. That comes to an end today with what should be a raucous crowd at Tiger Stadium and fantastic weather as Ole Miss tries to go to 8-0 for the first time since 1962. Matt, this is one of those games, the last game before the bye for LSU. There's a lot that they can feel good about building upon, but still a lot of things. The special teams still have to do their part. They can't get crushed in that the way they did against Tennessee. The tackling's got a little bit much more sharp than it was in the game a week ago. And Jaden Daniels has got to continue to do what he's done for the last, I would say, 2 weeks, because I thought some of these things started to come out in the Tennessee game, though it got lost in a blowout defeat.
The one thing Brian Kelly has been preaching all week is consistency, building on consistent performances now. You finally saw it against Florida. Can you replicate it? Can you improve with your second top 10 opponent in 3 weeks, and especially with tempo, Hanny, right? You saw a lot of tempo against Tennessee, and they didn't handle it well. The players themselves told you they didn't handle it well against the Volunteers. They weren't ready to be lined up. Can that change today? It's going to have to, because like you said, Ole Miss, they go fast, and it's a monstrous rushing attack that the Rebs bring into Death Valley.
Our entire ESPN staff will be with you throughout the day. We invite you to come on by Rouse's if you're heading out to campus to go tailgating. Download the app for curbside delivery. Get yourself a draft beer while you're shopping. And remember, at Rouse's, we never run out of ice. All of your tailgating supplies here at Rouse's, corner Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day, Skull Session.
Offense, presented by Gulf Coast Bank. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Now, here's Charles Hannegriff. And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
Getting you ready for LSU and Ole Miss here at Rouse's. Again, download the app for curbside delivery and pick up all your tailgating stuff, all your meats, all your spirits, all your beers, pretty much everything that you could use for tailgating. You'll have it available to you at Rouse's. Getting Gordy Rush here for just a second. Want to remind you that after the game, 90 minutes following LSU and Ole Miss, we'll have the postgame show. Jeremy Hill and myself from the studio. Gordy, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Charlie. You?
Yeah, doing fantastic. Should be a great day. Real quality game, great weather, the whole deal. Let's talk about what LSU found on offense a week ago and why, for the first time, really, Jaden Daniels looked comfortable, I would say, at the controls.
Well, to me, I went back and looked at the wide cut of the Tennessee game, and then I watched the one with the Florida game. And I came away in the first half of the Tennessee game thinking it was more, I think, just strategically X's and O's, what they were trying to do that didn't click, more than it was Daniels. And so for me, I thought they did a great job of spreading the football field. I thought they did a nice job with some of the RPO packages or just simply getting the ball out quickly to the wide receivers and man-to-man matchups, or hitting them underneath the zones when Florida played zones and allowing them to make plays. And you and I talked about in the Tennessee game that something was wrong when Taylor, the tight end, was targeted 11 times. Nobody goes into a top 10 game to target your freshman tight end 11 times. So I think they made some adjustments offensively. They did a better job in the pass game and got to the playmakers in space.
I also thought there were a couple of times, particularly in the first half, where they offered him a check down option. And frankly, that wasn't something that we saw a whole lot of in the first half of the season.
No, I agree 100% with you. And so, again, some of it play calling. And then you got the feeling that they went back during practice, and I think during some of those 7-on-7 sessions, the team sessions, or what have you, there was an emphasis, a focus of 1, 2, 3, get rid of the ball. And the way that Brian Kelly and this team practices, they go in hyperdrive when they're practicing. They get as many reps in as possible. And that's what it felt like to me. There wasn't a whole lot of thinking. It was boom, 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 get rid of the football. And it just looked like, it looked a little bit like some of the stuff they did in the spring and some of the stuff they did in the fall camp. And, I thought that, again, Daniels got himself into rhythm, and that's been a big word that I've tried to use throughout the year with Daniels. His inconsistency at times, to me, looks like he gets out of rhythm, gets out of tempo a little bit, and that's why he struggles. That wasn't the case against Florida.
Kayshon Boutte had his biggest game of the season by far. I know that, early in the season, particularly beginning with the Florida State game, it looked like he wasn't engaged. The body language wasn't great. The offense was not running, through him. A lot of double team stuff like that. It looked like he broke out last week. And I give him credit because he took a lot of criticism, wasn't engaged or whatever. He's still here, and he's still playing hard. And last week that came out. So what did you see where Boutte was concerned?
I thought he played with more energy, and so on his part, obviously he had a great week of practice. That's why he was a game captain for that week, and Brian Kelly mentioned that. On the flip side, I think that there was kind of a trade-off. Say, hey, we're going to get you the football. And they were in man coverage situations where they got him the ball running away from defenders. And that was something that we got used to the last 2 years because LSU faced a whole lot of man. Earlier in the year, you remember there were a couple times they were trying to get him in curl routes when others were playing zone. And I just think that they called the plays that he excelled in. They got him the football in space, and he played with a lot of energy.
They got an interesting relationship, Boutte and Kelly, don't they? I didn't even think about the game captain thing until you brought it up. But it's sort of like, hey, look, we're going to try to get you engaged. You got to meet me halfway here. And I've said this all along. These two need each other. For the rewards are obvious. LSU is going to be a better team when he plays well, and his draft stock is going to go up the better he plays. Those two have, like I said, I think they've got a very interesting relationship.
Yeah, they do. And I think some of it is you've got the star player that I think took some time to come back from his injury. And let's call it what it is, to buy in 100% to what Brian Kelly was trying to get done. And then you got this coach that's done it a long time and is going to do it his way and is not going to meet a whole lot of people halfway. And so I get the feeling it just took time for some of this trust to occur and for them to be on the same page. And hopefully last week was the beginning of that.
Yeah, trust is a good word. I think that's a very appropriate word. I think they're starting. I think the trust is growing between the two.
I agree. Yes,
it's good for LSU. All right, Gordy, 180 yards on the ground last week. I know that 50 yards on one run for Josh Williams, but they got more out of the run game minus the quarterback because the quarterback run game has always been there, but they got more out of the run game than they have been getting. Are we seeing them evolve a little bit, or was this just a porous Florida run defense and that's why they were able to get off?
Yeah, so I think they threw the football well in the first half, and it forced Florida to back up and play zone and at least protect themselves. They were on 2 touchdown plays. I believe that they ran a double team at Kayshon Boutte after looking at the game film. And when that happens, you get numbers in the box. You're able to run the football. So, look, there's no question, especially in the second half, the LSU in some of these games has done a better job running the football. I will tell you that just the way that I felt after watching Tennessee, that this was a very good football team. I looked at Florida, and Florida is kind of like LSU in the sense they've lost a lot of people. I didn't think as highly as Florida as I did coming into it, and really surprised that the Tennessee-Florida game was just a 7-point separation, and that's why it's so hard to look at comparative scores. So I think some of it is, I don't think Florida was a great football team, so I got to be fair with that. And I'll tell you, it's the first time I've seen Florida defensive backs that they just didn't have dudes back there, and Florida always has dudes.
And how much of it, Gordy, was that LSU, for the first time in a league game, didn't find themselves behind multiple scores? They were, they answered every deficit, and then they actually built a lead themselves in the second half, and we didn't see that in the first three games. Makes it a lot easier on the play caller.
Yeah, it does make it easier on the play caller because look, the first two series, LSU had some luck involved. I mean, there were times Florida came out and played with a lot of energy, a lot of intensity. That first series, Jaden Daniels was running for his life. Twice he hit Boutte on scramble drills. There were some broken plays. And after those two series, Florida, the intensity settled down, and they were who they were, right? And that's when when it got to that point, you're like, wow, to me, they're really not that good defensively. So yes, that makes it easier in play calling. And then when you're as dominant as you are throwing the ball, you're forcing their hand, and they were able to do that until late in the game when Florida just absolutely had to gamble to try to get the football back. I think it became easier to call plays.
Going to be back with us to talk defense here in a minute. We want to remind you that the LouisianaCharterFishing.com Catch and Cook Fishing Experience is happening all the way through the end of the regular season. At the end of the season, one grand prize winner will be randomly selected and notified and will enjoy lodging and a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote. The crew will enjoy a full day of fun on the water, go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains, and after fishing, the grand prize winner and their guests will head back to the camp with Chef Jay Ducote for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anybody who loves fishing, food, and fun, and entering to win is easy. All you have to do is visit gocatch.com and complete the registration form. That's GEAUX catch.com, and there'll also be 5 runner-ups who will get a LouisianaCharterFishing.com prize pack valued at $100. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Let me guess. Unknown caller?
You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Skull Session.
Defense. Presented by Edward Jones, making sense of investments. Now here's Charles Hannegriff.
And from the LSU Sports Radio Network, Gordy Rush.
And we welcome you back here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. All your tailgating needs here at Rouse's, where they never run out of ice. Gordy, the tackling, I think, was probably among the topics in the defensive meeting room this week. It wasn't great last week, and it's going to have to be much better today because Ole Miss is the best rushing team in the Southeastern Conference. Seems like I ask you this about 3 or 4 times a year, no matter what's going on. How do you get better at tackling when you're this deep into the season?
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, other than working on Tuesday is the only day that you're going to hit, right, on Tuesday. There's not a whole lot you can do. I mean, I think it's just it's a mental thing. It's between the ears. It's a commitment to it and playing with a little bit more aggression. And it's the key to the ball game today. When you look at Ole Miss offensively, it's a transfer quarterback, a transfer running back, a freshman running back, a transfer wide receiver. They're on their second tight end. Mingo is the biggest guy that returns a little bit. So these are all new people, and he's trying to put together, and it's been easier for him to run. And Dart's a big kid that can run as well, too. So they're just putting it together. And so, to me, I think the key is LSU 7 or 8 times out of 10 is going to stuff the run. It's the times that LSU has blown some sort of a run fill or assignment and just had missed tackles like the big Richardson run. And absolutely, I think that's what Lane has seen that on film. He's going to try and a lot of eye candy today and try to get some opportunities where he can hit for big explosive runs.
Well, how much different does the offensive schematics look to you with Kiffin? Because they're running it a lot more, obviously, but they're still going fast. I mean, they've run more offensive plays than Georgia for the year, just as an example. So when you look at this schematically, what Kiffin is doing, how much different is it?
Well, it's not a whole lot different. It's a lot of what he did that first year. He had Derrick Henry up at Alabama. If you remember, they were really run heavy from that. He's gonna go fast because he wants to get you misaligned. He wants your communication to get broken, and he wants to be able to hit those big plays. So I think the key is going to be, Fouché, Brooks, Ward, those 3 safeties, the nickel and the 2 safeties. How well are they communicating? How well are they going to fill their alleys? And I would test that going back to the Florida State game. LSU had problems, and there were big run plays. And even last week against Florida, it's how many broken plays. And the broken plays is what kept the Gators into the game.
Gordy, keeping with the theme of tempo there, obviously the last top 10 team that came into Tiger Stadium was Tennessee. They liked to go fast, and LSU didn't handle the tempo very well defensively. The players admitted that after the game, and they've talked a lot this week about wanting to be better at that. How do they handle the tempo better this week than they did 2 weeks ago against the Volunteers?
Yeah, Musa, I think you simplify, and Brian Kelly said it's correct. You want to get your cleats in the ground. I want to simplify. I want to know what we're doing. I want to communicate with what we're doing and run the defense. And there are going to be times you get out schemed. What you're trying to avoid is when everybody's scrambling, looking at each other, you don't get it done. And then all of a sudden, what should be an 8 or 10-yard play becomes a 40, 50, 60-plus play. And so that's it for me. What I like this week better than the Tennessee scheme is Dart can throw the ball, but they have been erratic in, I think, executing in the passing game. They've made some big plays, but they haven't beat people by doing that. Last week against Auburn, it was the run game, and I know, Charlie, you got the stats. And I think that's what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and run some clock, dominate dominate the play count, and keep that LSU explosive receiver group off the field.
Find me a punt returner this week.
Charlie, that's your department.
I asked nicely.
Right. What they did on kickoff is almost what I would do on punts, right? And just fair catch the thing. Sage Ryan did a little bit of that. I saw him earlier. They worked Chris Hilton before he got injured. They just have not found the answer, and I like what they did on kickoffs. Just fair catch the thing. Put your hand up, fair catch, and play from there, and not get any negative plays today.
The last thing, I think the very last thing I said on pregame before we left here last week was I just want an even keel in special teams. I don't need a block kick or a punt return for a touchdown. Just no turnovers, no block kicks, no big returns. Opening kickoff, 50 yards. Blown out of the water before you even got your popcorn. So, what to do about these coverage units? It got better as the game went on, but you still had that one big bust, and it put LSU behind again.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you in it. How do you eliminate those plays? And for me, the kickoff and where my frustration is in this day and age of everybody willing to take a touchback. If I can't kick the ball out the end zone, I want to hit a balloon kick to the up back. I mean, something that's going to bounce off the moon and force them to fair catch it the way now that LSU's doing. 9 times out of 10. What we've seen since they changed the rule, people are happy to start on the 25, unless you're going to hit a line drive kick at them and return it. And so that's my 2 cents on it. If your guy can't continuously kick it out the back of the end zone and force a touchback, and you don't want to gamble with a directional kick that may go out of bounds and put the ball on the 35, hit the sky kick. Hit the sky kick to the most unathletic-looking blocking back and make him fair catch. That would be my special teams wish of the day.
Yeah, and you've been wishing for that for weeks. I'm going to keep making you repeat it in the hopes that it gains some traction. The first time I ever saw the sky kick, I know you'll remember this guy, Gordy, kicking for Jerry Stovall, Juan Betanzos.
Yeah.
Betanzos was perfect. He had the most beautiful sky kick. He couldn't kick it deep, but, man, he could put that thing over the top of the moon and just drop it in there at about the 15-yard line, maybe the 12-yard line, and there was never hardly any returns out of it.
Man, look, I played with Brown Dyke, an incredible place kicker, and just didn't have the leg to kick it out of the end zone. But he was a lefty, and he was money kicking to the right, and that was before the rule change. And all that did was it cut the return in half. Yeah. Now you got 11 guys that has to, 33 yards, 60, whatever the length across the field. I think 66 yards.
53.
Whatever it is, you cut the thing in half, and that's all you have to do. And that's the madness in it. I mean, you got enough kickers on that roster. Surely somebody can bounce it off the top of the scoreboard and bring it back down on the 15 or 20-yard line every time. And again, most of the coaches are at that point. I'm a return coach, a special teams coach. I don't want my blocking tight end returning that kick. So he's taught to put his hand in the air.
Gordy, today in Tiger Stadium, I've given up. It's not going to be every game where the stadium's going to be electric anymore. The games are on TV and all that stuff. But the factors that have to come in for Tiger Stadium to be really at its zenith, you need a few things. You need LSU to be good, and they're not a championship team, but they're pretty good, and they're feeling good about themselves. You got to have an opponent that gets the juices going, and this would be really, really nice to knock Ole Miss out from being undefeated. You got to have good weather. We got good weather today. I think that this could be a really electric atmosphere today in Tiger Stadium. I said, well, of course, it's an SEC game. It's not always, okay? I think today it will be.
I think today will be an electric spot, and I'm with you 100%. And I think it's a great spot. I think it's a really good spot for this football team for all the reasons y'all talked about all week. I think Lane's an incredible play caller. They've got some great offensive talent. They're all new. They're all meshing, and this is the best team they played since Kentucky. And God bless Kentucky. It's been documented. Basically gave that football game away.
Yeah, 3 times inside the 35-yard line in the final quarter, and Ole Miss hung on to that 3-point lead. Gordy, have a good call in the game. We'll talk to you in postgame.
Okay, Charlie, thank you.
And we'll take a break here at Rouse's, Burbank at Lee. Again, download the app for curbside delivery. Pick up all your tailgating supplies on your way into campus here at Rouse's. Jimmy out with us when we come back. We'll do Otter Locks. That's next. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women, women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Otter Locks. Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs. Now, here's Jimmy Ott.
And we bring in Jimmy to talk about today's card, where you might be putting a little bit of coin down. You know, LeBerge, who is our hotline sponsor here on the pregame show and on the postgame show as well, opened their sports book yesterday. Beautiful ribbon cutting, fantastic looking facility. Brickwork is magnificent. The TVs, the setup is really, really nice. So get on over to LeBerge maybe before or after the LSU game. Get a wager down. Jimmy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Charlie. How are you? Doing great.
All right, let's get into this card. I call it a sneaky good card. It maybe doesn't have the glitz of last week's card, but there's a lot of good games on today, and we'll kind of go chronologically here because the opening window includes a matchup of undefeated teams, and I've heard almost nothing about this game this week, and that's Syracuse and Clemson. When you get two undefeated teams this deep in the season, you don't expect to see a two-touchdown spread, but that's what it is at Clemson today. Syracuse going in. Syracuse got some similarities to Ole Miss. Really good record, not exactly the strongest resume, and they get their biggest test today.
Yeah, I think, and they also don't have a play caller like Lane Kiffin. So I think Ole Miss is a way more capable offense. They barely snuck by against Virginia on Friday night. Charlie, you saw Virginia on Thursday night. That's not a good football team.
No.
Okay. Purdue scores to take the lead. 2 personal fouls. They have to kick off from their 10-yard line, and then they bust the coverage, allowing Syracuse to steal that one late in the game. Where would they be ranked if they had lost that one like they should have? I don't think Ole Miss is a top 10 team, but I think they're a top 20 team. I don't think Syracuse is a top 25 team. So I like Clemson here. I know they got healthier in the secondary. They're not playing those reserves as they did against Wake Forest earlier in the year, where Hartman just lit them up. And the final score was not indicative of how bad they beat Florida State. Fell behind 7-0, and they dominated. Up 20 in the fourth quarter. A couple of by-the-way touchdowns made the final score closer. Clemson still covered, but I like Clemson here. They're getting better, and DJU has shown us that it's not just a little early start, a good start. He's better. He has improved, and he's just not the same quarterback we saw on that opening weekend against Georgia Tech on Labor Day night. I like Clemson minus the 13.5.
Some good games going on alongside LSU and Ole Miss in the 2:30 window. Game day is up in the rain at Oregon. Not the best weather, but I really, really like this matchup. UCLA has they've made a believer out of me. They beat me twice. I went up the white flag there. Can't beat them, join them. I think they got a great chance in this game. And Chip Kelly's return to Eugene today. Yeah. This lines up to a touchdown, Jimmy. Oregon -7.
And it looks like, and Chip Kelly with the tempo, Charlie, was doing things that, tempo was so new at that time. Well, everybody does that now. So, but he does have an all-purpose quarterback, a true dual threat. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson has gone from a running quarterback, an inconsistent, an inaccurate quarterback that made mental mistakes all the time, to a more trusted commodity. And he's doing it with his arm and his legs. The local kid from the L.A. area went to Michigan and came back in Charbonnet. So he's got a real productive, good running back there. And everything runs off their RPOs, and it allows easier throwing opportunities. They're beautiful to watch on offense. But you know what? We beat up Bo Nix, and he was horrible. And I know George is really good, but horrible with 2 first-quarter first-down interceptions, 2 of them. I mean, first-down interceptions are cardinal sin for a quarterback, but he's gotten better. So both of these quarterbacks have similar paths and are playing better. Now, should they? One's got 40 career starts. The other has 42. Combined 82 starts in a college football game and the quarterbacks, it's going to be a ton of points. Track meet, the totals are like 71. I might even put this over. I don't love the game, but yes, I'm going to take any type of points, and I'll take 6 in this spot with UCLA.
Otter 2:30 window in the Big 12. Texas, they travel to Stillwater, face Oklahoma State, who, man, they've just got to be sick with themselves after the way that game ended against TCU last week. And now they find themselves as a 6-point home underdog. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Otter, but 6 points feels like a lot for the road favorite here, Texas.
Yeah, but Musa, we got to check about the status of you want to talk about another quarterback who's got a lot of career starts under his belt, Spencer Sanders. And, Musa, if you're Gundy is your last name, what would you name your child, your boy, when he's born? Well, let's call him Gunner. So Gunner Gundy is the backup quarterback for Oklahoma State, and he may get the start today with a whopping 6 career attempts. So that's one that, yes, if Sanders is playing, I'm taking 6. Keep in mind, the last time that Texas or Oklahoma is going to be making these trips to these, at least for the foreseeable future, to these campuses that they're too good for, that they're leaving the SEC. I mean, leaving the Big 12 to go to the SEC. And, man, that was a little extra juice in the stands in Lubbock when Texas went there and got beat. And I think there's going to be a little extra juice in T-Boone Pickens today. No play until I hear Sanders is playing. No play if Gunner Gundy's going to play. But I'm all over Okie State if Sanders gets a start.
Look who's back in the rankings for the first time since 1998. Sean King and the guys back in 1998. Tulane and Willie Fritz at 6-1 back into the rankings. This team's got to win over Kansas State. But New Orleans native Jimmy Ott smells a little bit of a rat here with Memphis, who has had, if they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all the last 2 weeks. Tigers getting a touchdown going to Yulman today.
Yeah, Charlie, and the rankings are good for nothing in college football. They're outdated, but they are good to attract some chump bait in the square players out there, the public money, and they look, man, this ranked team, and, you know, we'll talk about that with LSU and Ole Miss, unranked favored over a ranked team. Why? Well, there's a reason. And I think just the same way that James Madison, how did they handle their first ranking? Well, they got beat by Georgia Southern last week. So as a double-digit favorite. I think this is going to be a close game. I think these teams are way closer than their records indicate. You talked about Memphis. Memphis gave up 26 points to Houston in the fourth quarter alone and lost that double-digit lead. Now, Houston had to get an onside kick along the way to beat them. They lost a 17-point lead at East Carolina last week. I think this game is going to be very close. I like Tulane, but real close. It's going to be close. I love the 7 points in Memphis here.
Into the late window, not a whole lot of chatter around Mississippi State and Alabama. The Tide 3-touchdown choice here. Other than there are some whispers that, hey, listen, Alabama maybe – and I don't know if people are trying to talk themselves into it, maybe starting to slip a little bit, but there's evidence. The Texas game, the Arkansas game where they let a big lead go and then they pulled away late, the Texas A&M game, obviously, and then they lost against Tennessee. So you see real kinks in the armor, or is this just Alabama playing possum a little bit and they pull away here and win big tonight?
No, I do. And we know that Saban's teams will get better over the course of the season. We learned that very well in 2001 and 2003. How much better were those teams playing at the end of the year under Saban? But we've also seen is, although they're both passing attacks with Mike Leach and Josh Heupel, they're different because Tennessee spreads you out so much more, and they throw to all quadrants of the field. The thing about Alabama, Charlie, is they won national championships with mediocre quarterbacks. Where would they be without Bryce Young? This roster is, Georgia has beaten them on the recruiting trails, and it shows. And shows to the point where, man, where would they be without Gibbs? Poaching Georgia Tech, he had 30 touches last week. Bryce Young was phenomenal last week and taking a licking. Could have called the targeting on 21 in the Tennessee game, the whole bit. And if they, like they've done in the past, get a call on one of the 2 fourth-down interference, they win the game. So, man, look at what is Saban done against Mike Leach? He has a lot of success against Leach. Saban 7 for 7 straight up and against the spread coming off of a loss, and that's dealing with inflated numbers just like today. So I'm not in the business of laying 21, but history tells me, this matchup tells me, I'm going to have to take lay the points with Bama, and also Mississippi State, night and day, home and away. Don't underrate the Cowbells, baby. They win by double digits at home in the 2 SEC games. They lose by double digits on the road in their 2 SEC games. So taking the Tide, not my favorite, but I'll take the Tide and lay the points.
Whiteout tonight in Happy Valley, Otter. Minnesota visiting Penn State. Penn State got shellacked last week in Ann Arbor. Both starting quarterbacks in this one deemed game-time decisions. Do you have a feeling one way or another with the Nittany Lions laying 5?
I don't, but I got a feeling about the whiteout. Okay. Whiteout for who? Minnesota?
Yeah.
The whiteout for Minnesota?
That's it.
What are we doing here? I mean, little awkward there. Massive sandwich spot. This could be a lot tougher than maybe it looks on paper. This Penn State has looked better than Minnesota. Tanner Morgan's another one. He left the game with possible neck or a head injury. He went to the hospital last week. They missed him. They got outgained by Illinois by over 300 yards in that 26-14 loss last week. But playing Michigan and then about to play Ohio State next week. Wait,
shouldn't they have the whiteout against Ohio State? Well, they can only do it at night, is what they tell me in the Big Ten. The classic sandwich spot here for Penn State, coming off the Michigan game, about to play Ohio State. I don't know, man. Whiteout for the PJ Flex boat? I'm scratching my head on this one. I'm scratching my head on this one. That's a stay-away spot. It looks too easy. I want to take Minnesota, but they just haven't been good this year. Tanner Morgan, we don't know if he's going to play. Stay-away spot for me.
I like Penn State. Kansas State and TCU. I do. I like Penn State. I think that they're there's a lot of things I like. I had them in my 5-pack yesterday. All right, last one before we get to LSU. Kansas State and TCU, 5-1 against 6-0. TCU has played 3 of the most exhausting games that you can get into. They've won them all. And I'd forgotten to talk about this yesterday, Jimmy, but in all 3 of those games, TCU's opponent lost their starting quarterback at some point. Kansas State rested off of a bye week, catching 3.5 here. The only loss that Kansas State has this year to Tulane. Okay, Tulane's pretty good. This game tonight, 7 o'clock start in Fort Worth.
So they go to Dallas, and Deitch plays his old team. Okay, they go to Lawrence, Kansas, game day setting there. They blast Oklahoma along the way. Again, home game against one of the Oklahoma, Texas, who's about to leave their conference. And then you come from 14 down and win an overtime against undefeated Oklahoma State in a top 15 matchup. How much is left in the tank emotion-wise for TCU? Kansas State off of a bye. And how about Taylor Martinez? What was Taylor Martinez? I mean, he is just a turnover machine. How many turnovers does he have this year, Charlie?
None.
Zero. So I love this. I love Kansas State in this spot. I'm looking to be real competitive and maybe win the game outright. I'll take the 4 points.
You know, when I think it was Tom Osborne recruited him originally, you know, he was a high prospect. That was back in the late 70s, I think. Martinez been playing college football for a minute. All right, Jimmy, you and I both.
That's our historian. That's our historian now. I'm older than him, but he's the damn station historian.
I didn't write that. You and I both like LSU today, and I've given my reasons why. I want to hear yours.
Well, Ole Miss is overrated, and I think they're a top 20 team. Listen, I had a lot of confidence in this Ole Miss team, and that's why when we did our SEC preview early in the year, looking at win totals, I took over 7.5. They are exactly where I expected them to be at 7-0 coming to Baton Rouge. But they're not. They just don't have the explosive chunk plays in their passing game that we've seen the first 2 years for Lane Kiffin. Here's the numbers for you, Charlie. Here's the production. So last year they threw for 274 and rushed for 218 a game. Kind of flipped this year. They're running for 271 and passing for 231. So not a ton but just flipped a little bit in their percentage. Last year, this year they're running 63% of their snaps, almost 2-1. So he just doesn't trust Dart as much, and not just. Listen, for limited practice time in the COVID year, their very first game at home against Florida, decent team that went to the SEC championship game. There's chunk passing plays left and right all over the field. They don't have those this year. So, and also their first 3 games were against absolute garbage. And then the next 4 were a little bit tougher. Tulsa lost their starting quarterback, who was the second leading passer in the country. He didn't take a snap in the second half. It was a 1-possession game. Vandy went up and down the field. Kentucky with the turnovers in the fourth quarter. We talked about that. And so, they're just not – they're a little bit of a tick off. I thought they had a chance to be top 10. They're not. I think they're more top 20. And LSU is getting better. Don't ask me what I think of the game with LSU, because last week you asked me, and I could not be more wrong. In 32 years of covering the team, I was never more wrong than them, than what I saw last week out of the passing game for LSU. But I think the passing game is going to be closer to last week than it's been
the previous 5 or 6 weeks. So I like LSU. It's almost a 90% auto play when an unranked team is favored over a ranked team. And I like LSU. Like you said, beautiful day. All the stars align. I think there's a little extra juice in Tiger Stadium here.
Jimmy, who's bringing us auto locks?
Charlie, Lofton Staffing Services, and my friends over at Lofton Staffing Services, second-generation staffing service place. They will match hard workers with the most sought-after employers. So Lofton, you're more than just another employee. Lofton cares about your interests and will match you with a company that needs your skills. You can complete an application, schedule an interview, and even browse jobs at lofton.jobs. They also offer an unlimited $100 referral bonus. Lofton Staffing Services, we've been putting people to work since 1979. That's Lofton Staffing Services, 924-0200 or lofton.jobs. Like what Buddy Rooster would say, easy for me to say. So there you go. Run the boat, the White House, Musso.
Run the boat. Honor, let's go.
Football Sunday tomorrow at 10 o'clock on ESPN, Baton Rouge. Jimmy, you guys have a great show. Safe trip back. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and we'll take a break here at Rouse's. Again, download the app for curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.
98.1.
The First South Farm Credit College Football Scoreboard. First South Farm Credit, financing farms and land since 1916.
All right, here's what we're looking at for the college football Saturday. 11 o'clock window, Iowa at number 2, Ohio State. Buckeyes a 30-point choice in this thing. UT Martin at number 3, Tennessee. This is creative scheduling. After Alabama, you have a letdown, right? Have a letdown against somebody you can't possibly lose to. Nice job, Danny White. Battle of Unbeatens at Memorial Stadium, number 14, Syracuse, and number 5, Clemson. Number 21, Cincinnati at SMU. Here's another one, ranked team against an unranked team, but Cincinnati is a choice by 4 in that one. Kansas and Baylor on 11 o'clock start. UL Monroe is going to West Point today. They take on Army. Also an 11 o'clock kick for Indiana and Rutgers, Houston and Navy, Akron and Kent State. 11:30 kickoff for Duke and Miami. Interesting spot for Tyler Van Dyke. Was nearly benched. Actually was benched for a brief late in the game. And has come on in the last couple of weeks playing better. Duke got off to the 4-0 start. They are 0-3 since. Toledo and Buffalo at noon. Also at noon in the MAC, Bowling Green in Central Michigan. 1 o'clock in the MAC, Eastern Michigan, Ball State, Northern Illinois, and Ohio. We're just a couple of weeks away from MACtion in the week. Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Yeah, just a couple of weeks away. 1:30 kickoff for UNLV and Notre Dame. Irish at 3-3. 2 o'clock kickoff. West Virginia is at Texas Tech, a pair of 3-3 teams. 2 o'clock kickoff for Rice and Louisiana Tech in Ruston. 2:30 window is very attractive. Number 9, UCLA at number 10, Oregon. That game is the return of Chip Kelly up to Eugene. Number 20, Texas at number 11, Oklahoma State. Again, Spencer Sanders' status is the big question as we walk up to kick up for that one. 2:30 kickoff for Boston College at number 13, Wake Forest. Wake's only loss this year was against Clemson. Memphis at number 25, Tulane. Again, they're way back in the rankings for the first time since 1998. BYU hosts Liberty. Hugh Freeze looking for a job. His name's going to come up if the Auburn job opens, which we expect that it will. This is not as glitzy a Liberty team as maybe the Malik Willis team, but they are 6-1.
Solid.
They take on BYU today, and BYU making the trip to Lynchburg, Virginia. 2:30 kickoff for Purdue and Wisconsin. Jim Leonard, the interim coach at Wisconsin, hoping to get that job. A win today would go a long ways. Wisconsin is a favorite over the 5-2 Boilers by 1.5. Northwestern's at Maryland, Western Michigan at Miami of Ohio, Marshall at James Madison, Georgia Southern, Old Dominion, Florida International, Charlotte, North Texas, UTSA. 3 o'clock kickoff for Vanderbilt and Missouri. Also a 3 o'clock kickoff for Arizona State at Stanford, Hawaii at Colorado State, Florida Atlantic at UTEP. 4 o'clock kickoff for Arkansas State and UL Lafayette, Southern Miss and Texas State. 5:30 kickoff for Fresno State at New Mexico. 6 o'clock kickoff, number 24 Mississippi State and number 6 Alabama. Also Boise State and Air Force. The whiteout game kicks at 6:30 at Happy Valley. Minnesota at number 16 Penn State. 6:30 kickoff also at Williams-Brice Stadium for Texas A&M and South Carolina. UCF's at East Carolina. 7 o'clock kickoff in the Big 12 for number 17 Kansas State and number 8 TCU. Colorado and Oregon State. Pitt and Louisville also at 7 o'clock. Your late kickoffs, 8:45 for Utah State at Wyoming. 9:30 kickoff at Berkeley. Washington is at Cal. Huskies have lost 2 in a row. And San Diego State is at Nevada also at 9:30. And that is your college football scoreboard. We are going to take a break. We'll come back with Jim Nagy from the Senior Bowl with our scouting report on Ole Miss. We are here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day Scouting Report.
Presented by Demco. Demco, powering lives, brightening the future.
And back here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day, we are live from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee, counting you down to a 2:30 kickoff between the LSU Tigers, the 7th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels, second top 10 team in Tiger Stadium in 3 weeks. Time to welcome in the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. That's Jim Nagy. He'll give us a scouting report on Lane Kiffin's Rebels. Jim, we appreciate the time for another week. Thank you, and how are you?
I'm doing great. Another big one this week.
It is. And look, people are pretty confident around here actually this week, but hoping that it goes better than the first time against Tennessee. Obviously, Ole Miss, talented, maybe not on the level of a Tennessee as we've seen in recent weeks, but do want to get your thoughts on the offensive side of the ball and one player in particular, and that's wide receiver Jonathan Mingo. So a long line, right, especially recently, of receivers from Ole Miss to the NFL, whether it's A.J. Brown or DK Metcalf or Elijah Moore. Jonathan Mingo looking to be next in line there and has already set the Ole Miss single-season receiving record in a game this year.
Yeah, he's the next in line. There's no doubt. So Jonathan is a big, talented guy. You're talking 6'2"-ish, 225 pounds, really fluid. He can run. That Vandy game a couple of weeks ago where he set that record, whatever, over 200 yards. Amazing performance. Big guy that can run. And I think what speaks to what Ole Miss is doing right now offensively in running the football, it's amazing to think that Mingo didn't have a single catch last week, and they still scored 48 points. So he's going to be tough. He's going to be a tough one-on-one matchup because of the size and speed factor, and he's not just a big straight-line guy. He can run routes. He can snap you off. So he can make plays at all three levels, which he's done. I mean, they can get him the ball quick. He can run with it. He can break you off intermediate, and then he can go vertical too. So he will definitely be a guy that the LSU defense has to be focused on in the perimeter.
So I'm glad you brought that up. A couple things here about not having a catch last week. Obviously, look, Ole Miss ran for over 400 yards in the game. Auburn ran the ball a lot in the game as well. That was the focus of that game offensively. But is it more that prevented him from having a catch, or was there something Auburn was doing to take him away in that game?
No, I mean, Auburn isn't having a great year, but they do have two good corners. They really do. Nehemiah Pritchett and DJ James are good players. They have two good man cover corners. But it was more so they weren't getting away from the run game.
Yeah.
You could tell right out of the gate that that's what they wanted to do. They had to the two backs go for 100, the quarterback ran for 100, and when it's working, why go away from it? I think that, offensively, scheme-wise, they do try to do something very similar to Tennessee. It's very similar to what you saw. I mean, they'll stretch you out horizontally and space everything out with wide splits, and then they'll run at you, and they'll go tempo. And I think those two schools right now are doing the tempo thing better than anyone in college football. So it's nice that you got some preparation in Tennessee a couple weeks ago, and you're going to see more of it this week.
One more on Mingo before we flip sides of the ball. Size, speed. That's what Brian Kelly has highlighted as well this week when talking about Mingo. Size and speed. So if you can describe just how rare that combination is that Jonathan Mingo has.
Well, it's going to put him probably somewhere in the day 2 range on the draft. A lot of like in second, third round, where that ends up. I mean, some of that goes to how he interviews and what the character is like. We don't know anything like that, like the NFL teams do. But just on the tape, yeah, he's a big, thick guy that doesn't move like a big, thick, heavy guy. He's fluid, and he's explosive. A lot of the bigger guys are like build-up speed guys. He's not. He kind of has an immediate gear, so he's going to be a tough guy to defend.
And obviously we've mentioned the Ole Miss running game, and it's what they want to do most of the time. 448 on the ground last week against Auburn. A guy who's a big part of that is along the offensive line, and that's guard Nick Broker. You talk about a stalwart, 42 games in his career along the offensive line for Ole Miss. He's an anchor on the left side.
Yeah, Nick's played a ton of football. Was a left tackle in the past. They kicked him inside to guard this year, playing left guard. Which was the best move for Nick long term because that's where he's going to be as a pro. His arms just aren't as long as the NFL wants the arms to be out at tackle. Not to say that he can't play a little tackle when he gets up there, but he will be a starting NFL guard. He's getting better every week. I mean, things move faster on the inside. I think everyone knows that with all the moving parts. He's starting to sort that out quicker. But he's just a big, strong guy in the run game, and they run downhill. I mean, they are not a finesse run team. These guys, they've got a couple big backs, and Nick can move people. He's one of the few college guards out there that can actually come off the ball and get movement. So that'll be a good test for the inside guys at LSU.
He'll be dealing with Mekhi Wingo, Jaquelin Roy, and others this week from the Tigers. Let's flip sides of the ball. We're chatting with Jim Nagy, Executive Director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Follow him on Twitter at JimNagy_SB. Jim, linebacker, Troy Brown. So he's in his first year at Ole Miss, transferred in from Central Michigan, but so far the 6'1", 220-pounder seems like he's had really no issue transitioning from the MAC to the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, Troy's a guy that I've had my eye on for a while because that's my dad's alma mater, Central Michigan.
Hey.
So I've been watching him for a while. And LSU fans are familiar. I mean, they played CMU last year, and Troy played there, so this won't be his first trip down to Baton Rouge. And again, not just an All-MAC player, he's a 3-time first-team All-MAC player. Undersized, but if you protect him, if you keep big bodies off him, if the guys up front do a good job and keep him clean and just let him run to the football, he will go sideline to sideline on you, and he's like a quick kind of darting type guy that when he sees a crease, he can get in the backfield and make plays. So really nice pickup for Ole Miss. I mean, you don't really see SEC schools dip down to the group of 5 level and get guys that come in and play right away and contribute. And Troy Brown's done that. He's again, like I said, if they keep him clean and let him run, he's going to show up a lot on Saturday.
Fire up chips. I love it. With Troy Brown, is he more, like you said, you mentioned sideline to sideline. Do they ever attempt to use him in coverage at all?
Yeah, I mean, of course he'll get matched up in coverage, and he's all right. I mean, but there's very few college linebackers that can cover in man. I mean, there's really an underneath zone player. If you see a college linebacker that can hold up in man coverage, you're talking about our first or second round draft pick. I mean, there's not many of them out there. But the thing he does, he can run. So as a short zone player, he can close. He's explosive. And he's effective in what they ask him to do, but they will blitz him too because, like I said, he can close.
On the back end of the defense, you find A.J. Finley, who, man, turn on the tape against Auburn last week, and he was all over the field. Nice high tackle total and an interception against the Auburn Tigers for the senior safety for the Rebs.
Yeah, A.J.'s another guy we have some background with here in Mobile because he's a Mobile kid.
Yeah.
He played at St. Paul's High School here locally. played a lot. He's played all over for Ole Miss. He's played a lot of football, and he's played a lot of football in a lot of different spots. So back there at safety this year, he does not move like most college safeties. He's a fluid athlete. You can see why he's played some corner there for them. Like you said, in that Auburn game last week, made an unbelievable layout fingertip interception, kind of a highlight worthy pick, and he's played well all season. He's the guy that in the back end he can make plays, and right now we're seeing across the SEC some safety play getting exposed in the passing game. We saw it the other night last weekend in the Tennessee-Alabama matchup, and AJ's the guy that has cover skills, so that he gives them kind of a unique player back there.
Jack of all trades, A.J. Finley for Ole Miss. Jim, we appreciate the time as always. We got bye week next week, so take the week off. Come back, though, and pretty big opponent when we get you back on in the Alabama Crimson Tide. But we'll worry about that down the road. We appreciate the time as always. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. That is Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Reese's Senior Bowl. Follow him on Twitter at JimNagy_SB. You can follow the Reese's Senior Bowl on Twitter at Senior Bowl. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side with more live from Rouse's on Burbank and Lee. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Recruiting
with Shay Dixon from On3 Sports. Presented by Shell. Shell is the rhythm of Louisiana.
And we return here at Rouse's, corner of Burbank and Lee. Download the app for curbside delivery and all your tailgating needs. Here at Rouse's, where they never, ever run out of ice. Let's bring in Shay Dixon from On3. Shay, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Charlie?
Fantastic. So a couple of weeks ago when the Tennessee game was in the morning. We talked about all of the logistical hassles, and that wasn't great. Now you get what I call the aligning of the planets. Okay, you have a 2:30 start, so you got enough time to get in here. You got great weather. You got a top 10 opponent, and with the 2:30 start, you got some time to visit with recruits after the game more than you would with a night game. So I would imagine with all of those things, this is a pretty attractive visitor list today.
I'm glad it is, or that would have been set up for failure right there, Charlie.
I was just trusting you, Shay. I was just trusting you.
That's not me. It's got to be the staff. No, they're going to have a nice visitor list today, and it's for all the reasons you said. That timing of the 11 a.m. just makes it so tough for guys to get in and onto campus and all of that. Now everybody got to play their Friday night games. For example, they have one official visitor, Dalen Austin, out of California, and he's a cornerback that really a big need position, obviously, guys, for them to bring in some players who potentially could play early, given how many transfers they just took and are getting by with this year. And Dalen Austin out of California, a spot LSU doesn't recruit very often, is one of the top options. And he played his game last night, hopped on basically the red eye, flew in, to New Orleans, got in, drove over, and now he's already on campus kind of kicking things off. He gets time with the staff before the game, obviously after the game and through Sunday. So, yeah, the 2:30 works out well. Night games are perfect. 11 a.m., no-go.
When you talked about coming in on the red eye, somebody needs to sit the recruits of today down and tell them a good story about how you used to be able to fly recruits in private, and they would put their names up on the scoreboard, and the pilot would make it a point to go around close enough to Tiger Stadium where they could see their names up in lights. You can't do any of that stuff anymore. They outlawed all of that stuff, but used to be a good time. You didn't have to go through all of the rigors of commercial air flight, Shay, back in the day.
Oh my gosh, I like during the NIL era where everybody says it's the wild, wild west, but really Charlie's giving us stories of flying recruits over Tiger Stadium in private jets. So those sound like the wilder times, Charlie. NIL is nothing. This is not the wild, wild west.
No, they used to not at LSU, of course, but they used to have jobs, where they would pay kids, and maybe the jobs weren't all that rigorous. Things like guard that concrete bench in the quad that weighs 2 tons. That's your job. Make sure nobody steals it. That kind of thing. That never happened here, though. Just at other places. Shay, what would you say remain the biggest needs of the class at this point as we get toward the second half of the regular season?
I still look at linebacker. I mean, they've got one guy committed right now, West Weeks, Weeks' little brother, who's obviously a transfer in from Virginia. He's gotten banged up recently, but was playing some backup linebacker for them. Now they've got the younger brother coming in this next year. But that's it at linebacker. And certainly as kind of, the guys who are playing middle backer, and they have a handful of edge rusher, B.J. Ojulari type commitments. But I still think that they'll need to go heavy on linebacker. I think rebuilding the DB room has been a really big emphasis for them. They have a bunch of commits, but they also are still trying for a number of other guys just because kind of how depleted they were at cornerback and even into the safety room. And I circle tight end. They only have one, and we know that they want to be able to use tight ends. They've got one guy committed and 2 kids on roster who were initial counters on scholarship, and Mason Taylor, who we see start as a true freshman, and then Cole Taylor, who's in his 3rd year in the program. So I think those are a few of the – when I look at absolute needs for kind of next year, those are a few of the spots that I kind of look back at the commitment list and say, man, I think they probably should have to beef that up a little bit more.
Shay, the last couple of weeks, we've talked a good bit about 2024 in this segment as well. A guy that's visited LSU is one of the top cornerbacks. That's Desmond Ricks. Earlier this week, Shay, he tweeted out today's date, but without much context besides that. What are we looking at with Desmond Ricks today? Is that just like another top 5, or is this a commitment? What's the story there?
It won't be either of those things, or at least it won't be a commitment. And I don't think, without spoiling this moment, the emphasis there won't be on kind of top teams. Okay. But, yes, this is a kid for next year out of IMG who he's already turned 18. Like, he's got all the credits, all that, so he lined it all up. So there's always a chance. I think people are watching to see if he could reclassify. That's kind of been a buzz, but we'll see. He's kind of kept the news to himself there and not let the cat out of the bag. But regardless, this is a kid, no matter what class you're looking at, that they're recruiting pretty heavily. And again, that's Moose. I've been saying it. Corner is a need for them. Javian Toviano is another out of Texas that they're really hoping they could pull, because that's the kind of guys that you need to come in and start to play early. We're watching a team right now that was rebuilt so much through the portal that obviously a lot of these guys are super seniors or seniors or whatever it is, and they're kind of bridging the gap to that next era of LSU corners. And boy, the two guys who even returned on the team, think about it, Raydarius Jones and Demarius McGee, neither of them are playing it down this year, and that was kind of decided before the season. So they don't have much at corner by way of anything proven returning on the roster beyond these transfers. And now you hope you can kind of build up some of these young guys you just signed and then go heavy on this class and the next one and kind of get back to a spot where you're comfortable and not patchworking it every offseason with a new batch of transfers.
Shay, the one bye week of the season is next week. Where are they putting their resources in the off week?
This is when they're going to hit the road for the first time. And Brian Kelly talked about that earlier this season, to where he wanted every coach, like, some coaches would go out on Friday nights and check out somebody play and then, ride back a couple hours back to town and then be ready for, the game the next day. He said, look, this team needs the majority of our focus. So the coaches have not been out on the road this year. I mean, a couple have, but it has not been a weekly thing. So I think you're looking at this next week where they go on the road. They're checking in on all the 23 commitments and remaining targets. They're getting ahead on 2024 guys. They're watching games next Thursday and Friday. So for the first time since Florida State, I mean, before that game, they're able to kind of really shift the focus from the team, week-to-week preparations, to, hey, let's go out and spend some time on recruiting and kind of get face-to-face with some of these guys.
Who would you say, give me one or two names that they got to get out and see this kid? They're trailing, or they're trying to reel this guy in, they're trying to cinch up a commitment, or maybe it's somebody that they're on the fence about an offer. Give me one or two names next week. Like, hey, they got to get out and see this guy.
I think Javian Toviano, I mentioned, is one at corner who they continue to kind of want to be front and center for, because he is probably, I think he's the highest unranked, highest uncommitted, highest ranked uncommitted DB prospect still out there. So, like, he's got a lot of people chasing him. They really want to close there. But I'll give you one. Look, they've got Ricky Collins in at quarterback, so they're focused on next year. And I think Joe Sloan getting out to see Julian Sayin, who's going to announce his commitment in the coming weeks. He's the number 2 quarterback in the country for next year's class, coming out of California. He'll be at Bama this weekend, so he's already visited LSU a few weeks back, but visited multiple times now. LSU's considered the team to beat. He'll go visit Bama this weekend, and then he'll settle into a decision. So I think Sloan getting out, on a bye week and being able to see him after that Bama visit ahead of early stop by the school and ahead of the announcement of wherever he's going to go to college will be key. So it's not just this class. I mean, this is an important next week for, I think, next year's class, especially kids like Sayin who want to go ahead and announce something in the next maybe 7 to 14 days.
Shay, what's coming up after the game on 3?
Yeah, we're going to catch up with a lot of these recruits. I mean, they've got a number of big-time Mississippi kids in today, a lot of Louisiana kids, one official visitor in Dalen Austin, which I think they're really hoping that they can roll out the red carpet and keep him committed, because a lot of West Coast schools have been recruiting him. So we're just going to catch up with all the guys that were at the game and see what they thought. And if everything plays out like Vegas says, I guess, Charlie, if they've got all that money to build all those big buildings for a reason, then maybe LSU gets a win today, and a lot of these guys will have something to say about it.
All right, Shay, you've done such a great job through the first 2 months of the season. I'm giving you next week off, but we'll see you back here in 2 weeks for Bama, all right?
Oh, man, I thought you were cutting me there for a second. All right, I'll be back.
Thanks a lot, Shay Dixon on 3. We'll take a break. Talking Tigers is next here from Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women, women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Talkin' Tigers.
Presented by Louisiana Land Bank. Louisiana Land Bank. They're experts in rural land and equipment lending.
Talkin' Tigers.
Wide receiver Kayshawn Booty.
You know, we kind of started the season off slow. Florida State, a loss 24-23. It was a rough start for the team, kind of getting the groove together, you know. And I feel like as the season go on, we got better as a team. You know, we lost to Tennessee. It was about coming in the next week, seeing how we transition and shake back. And I just feel like as a team, we played great. Started 6 for 6 first half offense, kind of played the second half great. It was a good game altogether.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
Like the tempo, I feel like us getting that tempo with them is going to help us with this game. Be ready for tempo because we already experienced it, you know, so that's something I think we can take away to our advantage.
Defensive back Colby Richardson.
Oh, it felt great, you know, going back to the drawing board after losing tough to a great team and trying to come back and trying to compete for the West. It was a big, huge win to go out there in Florida and take the W.
Wide receiver Kayshawn Booty.
Oh, we just, like I said, we got to start fast as an offense. Got to focus on the little details. It's a big game this week. Another top 10 opponent. You just don't want the same stuff to happen that happened 2 weeks ago.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
His decision making, I feel like he has good decision making. I feel like whereas reading this or that, if this guy comes off, then he's gonna find him. So, you know, we're prepared for that.
Defensive back Colby Richardson.
When they scramble, you got to turn the scramble drill. And corners, safeties, got to lock on to guys. And the guy that's rushing the quarterback just got to contain him and get to him as fast as you can before you get out with his feet.
Wide receiver Kayshawn Booty.
Well, we came in, we kind of talked a little bit, but as the season go on, we kind of started spending more time together trying to build that bond. And I feel like it's starting to pay off. We finally getting together on the field. It's just everything connected.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
Tear off and make the tackle, really. We've been doing a lot of tackling drills, you know, because they have really great backs. So, you know, tackling just been important, thudding everything. And like I said earlier, though, the tear-off is important because they make us use all our guys.
Defensive back Colby Richardson.
We just try to communicate more with hand signals, try to be there for each other, help each other out. off the field and just on the field wise, just trying to communicate those plays and try to get lined up as fast as we can.
Wide receiver Kayshon Boutte.
It helped a lot, passes not open downfield, defenders everywhere. It kind of helped that he could maneuver throughout the defense, get first downs and touchdowns.
Linebacker Micah Baskerville.
Just the details. If you just do the small things right, the details every day, then the outcome going to predict itself.
Wide receiver Kayshon Boutte.
We just got to keep working together. Like I said, focus on the little details. Just go in and out of practice, knowing that we can't make mistakes. It's SEC play.
Talking Tigers. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office.
98.1.
Get a free roof inspection by Garcia Roofing. GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
WTGL and HD1 Baton Rouge.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Off the bench on Game Day. Off the Bench is heard weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from OTB, here's T-Bob Hebert.
T-Bob, good morning. How are you?
Yo, what's going on, boys? Good morning. Good morning.
You sound great.
Okay. Relax, Hanny. Okay, you know how these weekends work, dude. There's a lot of people coming to town. The city's electric right now. Have I been on a bit of a 48-hour thing? A little bit, but you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited to whoop some Ole Miss ass today.
All right, you're a celebrity around these parts. Give me the rundown as much as for a family audience so you can. What the last 48 hours of your life has been like, because I know you're all about hosting.
No.
Right?
It's nothing. No. It's nothing special. It has just been. I am now a 33-year-old father of two, a third on the way. And like anything else, right? Like I am not in shape for this sort of stuff. So it is mainly just a lack of sleep and just drinking a few too many beers that is beating me down. Actually, not beers, tequila. Freaking Danny.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah,
Danny started off. It was just a tequila shot.
Yeah,
what are you going to do?
Blame it on somebody else.
Hey.
All right. The staff, pretty much all of us, seem to have an unusually high amount of confidence where LSU's prospects are concerned today. We've kind of gone down the list. Give me yours, why you think LSU is better today.
So it's interesting, Hanny. I don't know that I share the same confidence. I am rather actually leaning on like you and Matt and like Otter and others who, have seen these stories play out before and have seen weird spreads like this and everything, and know that, like, yes, if you have a team that's top 10 in the country, there's somehow an underdog, whatever, like blind bet the other side, right? But what really concerns me and what I'm not sure of are twofold, and this is not good because, like, I'm nervous about stopping Lane Kiffin in the offense, right? Because, well, you're not going to be able to shut him down. Like they're going to. Lane is going to dial up a couple of haymakers, right? So I'm just worried about being able to stop them consistently. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it's that same word. I'm worried about consistency. Like, which LSU offense are we going to get? If I've created a scale in my head where Auburn game is 1 out of 10. That's the Jayden Daniels 1 out of 10. Florida game is Jayden Daniels 10 out of 10. Where's he going to fall on that scale? And where's this offense as a whole going to fall functionally? So, like, I guess what I'm concerned about is I actually am a bit intimidated by Ole Miss. Like, they haven't played anybody in all the arguments. I understand all that. But I do think they're a good team. I think they're well coached. And then I'm still just terrified of LSU's volatility a bit. They're just they're young, and those two things go hand in hand. So it's just like I don't know exactly which team to expect. Like, I would feel more comfortable picking this game if I didn't know anything about LSU. And then you just, okay, just blind pick. Yeah, I mean, how are they favored? They have I would just pick them. So I am very hopeful. I did get peer pressured into making the third biggest bet of my life on LSU this week after losing both the first and second biggest bets of my life on LSU. So that's probably not a good sign.
Oh, that's great. Look at it this way. You're due, okay? You're
Yes, Andy. There we go, dude. This is definitely not the logic that get people into deep, horrible gambling holes.
No, it's never happened before. When it comes to Jayden Daniels, are you more in the camp of he has turned a corner? He has found a confidence now that he didn't have before, or is Florida just not a very good defense and the numbers are maybe a little bit inflated?
So, like, this game will obviously determine whether or not he's turned the corner, right? So as we sit here trying to make a decision without this game, I would probably, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, because there is still a lot that I like about him this year. He has always been at his best when the pressure is highest, right? He's very calm, cool, and collected as well. I think these are all traits that, once you figure out some of the other, like, actual, like, football parts out of it, I think these are traits that can lead to consistency and that make me feel good about the potential. So I would fall on the side where I think he has turned a corner. And the thing is, yes, Florida's defense is bad. Like, make no mistake. They're not good at all. But what he did should be replicable, right? Like, it wasn't something unique. It wasn't like speaking of Ole Miss, we've seen Ole Miss defenses in the past that just like couldn't tackle. And it was just like the worst. It was just awful. Like the worst defense you've ever seen in your life. Florida was not that. Like you should be able to throw up, to trust your receivers and make some of those deep throws that he was making against anyone. So now, and Florida was actually kind of nice on the edges, the pass rush too. And I thought he did a much better job of staying calm in the pocket and letting things develop and go through his read. So yeah, I'm gonna give Jaden the benefit of the doubt here. Also, I don't think Ole Miss's defense is bad, but I think they're just average.
Offensive line. We saw the difference that having a healthy Will Campbell makes, but now going into 8 weeks, where would you rank their continuity? How you feel about the progress that they made?
So the O-line is so weird because it's actually for the first time in like 3 years, I'm super bullish. Since 2019, for the first time in 2019, I'm like really bullish about this offensive line. And it's not that they are the most dominant line right now. Like, make no mistake, they are growing. But, bro, the fact that you have 2 true freshmen starting tackles right now that are not only and not just starting, but like really playing relatively well. I mean, Will was obviously SEC lineman of the week, and even Emory Jones struggled last game, but you heard Brian Kelly talk about the postgame. These kids' abilities to abide by the football golden rule, the one snap and clear, and deal with the mental pressure that comes from having a bad play or something on this stage, it's really just kind of unreal, dude. Like it is hard to overstate how impressed and excited I am about the fact that I feel like have 2 bookend tackles for at least 3 years. It is such a great resource if you're looking to build a program. But then you look at Charles Turner, dude, which is shocking to me because they spent all of camp trying to get him out of the starting lineup, and he's been fantastic. Like he's played really well physically. The calls have been great. He had a few operational things early on, but like he is absolutely your best center. And then you talk about having a Garrett Dellinger, who is a true sophomore, as your best lineman. Bradford is a true guard with his big body, dude. Run blocking. I mean, you can't move him. Like I really enjoyed watching this O-line this year. And it's not because they're the most dominant line this year, but they are better than people think, I believe. But it's because in the future, I think they are going to be great as well.
T-Bob, we know Ole Miss likes to run the ball, obviously, a lot. What have you seen from their O-line on tape and maybe how LSU's defensive front matches up against the Rebs?
So their O-line is obviously very good. But, like, Florida's O-line was really good as well. And I thought an understaffed D-line did a pretty good job against Florida. I think Mekhi Wingo continues to be your highest graded defender, according to PFF. Maybe the highest grade on the team, but I think the highest graded defenders like Wingo and Roy and Guillory have been doing a lot of work in the middle there. It's tough to hold up against a good O-line when you only have 3 guys rotating for those 2 spots. But that remains a concern, right? Like I don't care how good you are. I will never not be concerned when you're going against a good offensive line and you only have 3 interior guys that you really love. One thing to watch for today, and somebody was telling me this, that this is ultimately a game where it's probably going to be more about your edge defenders and, your Sams and your Wills and stuff. Watch out for Savion Jones, boys. He's been coming on.
Yeah.
It's been a weird year for Ollie Gay, where Ollie Gay just hasn't really been flashing too much. And Savion Jones started to emerge in the New Mexico game. And he played a lot of legit snaps last week in Florida. And when he plays, you notice him, right? And like if you're a young player trying to get time, that's how you do it, is you flash on the film. And Savion Jones is big. He sets the edge. I'm very interested. Obviously, we want to see Harold Perkins dominate, Jay, but like, I'm intrigued to see if Savion Jones has a bigger role today.
All right, T-Bob, enjoy the game. A little honey. So maybe
I know, dude. Bro, you ain't lying, dude. I need some honey and some coffee ASAP.
Medicate a little bit, buddy, and we'll take.
Well, medicate. I mean, I got that on lock. Don't worry. Don't worry, bro.
All right, T-Bob. We appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, boys. Y'all have a great day.
Running Boards Marketing, before we go to break, tell you about them. If you want your business to stand out, that's who you need. They drive giant LED mobile billboard trucks, eye-catching ads, impossible to miss. For your business, check them out at runningboardsmarketing.com.
We're here at Rouse's. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes.
98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
After further review on Game Day, presented by the Grove Recovery Center. The Grove Recovery Center. Recovery designed for you. After further review is heard weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Now from AFR, here's Matt Moscona.
Scone, good morning still. How are you?
Doing a lot better than my whiskey and wine co-host. That sounds like that's going to be a joy this afternoon and evening.
You may have to haul more of the mail than him this afternoon.
Oh my God!
He sounds like he's struggling a little bit. You know,
we've all been there. But holy moly, it's one of those things where he'll probably be better off just pounding more tequila. You got a broken rib, man. Just give me the shot. Give me the injection so I don't feel it so I can go play. That's kind of what T-Bob needs right now.
Well, you go hair the dog at your own risk. That's your show. God bless. We're all counting on you. I'm sure everything will be. I think everything will be just fine.
That will be Kayla Dabear's responsibility on Sunday.
God bless her. Okay, we were talking about how most of the staff is very high on LSU. I know you're kind of bullish on the Tigers this week. Have been from pretty much the end of the Florida game. Tell us why.
No, before the Florida game.
Before the Florida game. Okay.
I listen. It's kind of funny how this has kind of been made to be like Namath, in Super Bowl III. I was just pointing out, and I was very adamant on Monday, pointing out that I was picking LSU beat Ole Miss. That I picked them last week. That I picked LSU last week to beat Ole Miss because I think that it was a reaction to the win over Florida, which is not the case. I was going to pick LSU in this spot either way. I love the spot for LSU. I think at home. I feel like I know more about LSU because they play by far the tougher schedule. And the fact that Ole Miss, I think, is right now people are maybe a little antsy as a product of their ranking. And look, Hanny, they're worthy of the ranking because they've won all of their games. But my goodness, if you flip the schedules, LSU would be 7-0 too. Ole Miss has played the 110th ranked strength of schedule, and they're worthy because they've won all their games. But I don't think they're finishing this season ranked 7th in the country. I don't think they're going to finish this season in the top 10. Ole Miss, I think, is going to go probably 2-3 the rest of the way, and finish somewhere in the top 20, top 15. I think, and that's where they are, and it's a great season for them. I think they have just been completely oversold because of their early schedule, which is something we knew back in July.
I want to talk to you about red zone defense. I think this is one of the keys in today's game because Lane Kiffin's teams are going to put up yards. Are they going to put up points? This stat hasn't gotten a whole lot of run, but LSU is actually third best on touchdowns allowed in the red zone at 45%. So how do you feel about defensively? Bend but don't break is such an overused thing, but a little bit today, that, hey, Kiffin's going to get his yards. You got to hold him to field goals, or in Kiffin's case, probably more likely fourth down tries in the red zone.
It is the key to the game because, listen, Kentucky gave you the blueprint. I mean, Kentucky went to Oxford, and Ole Miss hit their flurry early. They got up two scores, and the rest of the game scored 8 points. They had the safety in the second quarter and a field goal, and they had one field goal in the third quarter. That was it. And Ole Miss put up yards, 180 pass or 180 rushing, 150 passes, or whatever it was. And you give up the yards between the 20s, but you clamp down when you need to in the red area. And LSU's been really good at that. And I think it's similar to what we talked about with Tennessee, where you're going to give up, they're going to score, you're going to give up yards. You just got to be able to get stops at times in the game and at times hold them to threes instead of sixes. The big difference, and I don't want to compare the Tennessee game because obviously that didn't go well, but the big difference is Tennessee's playmakers on the outside. We talked about that day, guys. Like, I don't like LSU's corners against really good receivers. And we've seen what Brew McCoy and Jalen Hyatt and those guys from Tennessee are, and LSU can't run with those guys. Ole Miss has one. It's Jonathan Mingo, and I actually like Jarek Bernard-Converse in that matchup. He's a big corner, or even Mekhi Garner out there. So I don't worry about Ole Miss beating LSU in one-on-one matchups in the end.
Do you have any good ideas about the special teams improvement or lack thereof? There's been some spots where they've done a little bit better and some where they haven't. Any good ideas about an improvement? And you see, that's what happens.
Yep.
You go to special teams and the phone just drops out. Okay, he was so taken aback by the questions.
He hung up on
right. It's just saying, man, look, we got no shot. That's that is, in a nutshell.
That was beautiful.
That is, in a nutshell, the LSU special teams for most of the year.
Asking the call drops.
Yeah. Clemson gets a touchdown on their opening drive. Baylor has already scored twice on Kansas, 14-0. All right, Matt, I was asking about special teams before we got cut off. So any good ideas about potential improvement among the LSU special teams? He still don't
If you are satisfied with your message.
Okay. You know what? Segment's over. Yep. That's it. Segment's over.
That is a bad omen. I mean, I just don't feel great about that right now.
Somebody's getting a kick block today.
God.
Yikes.
Hopefully it's the team in red jerseys.
Let me answer for him. Let me see if in my skull, Hanny. It's just been bad. They just, they got to find somebody who can catch a punt. They got to find somebody who can cover a kick. I mean, come on, we're in the 8th play-in date here. What else can you possibly do schematically on special teams? It's run down and tackle somebody. It's catch the ball and kick it. I mean, what else can you ask? And they haven't been able to do it.
That's not bad.
I'm just hoping that today it's not one of those backbreakers, right? That it just completely turns the game. I mean, like last week, you got the long kickoff return. They scored a touchdown. LSU answered it. So, I mean, that's what you got to hope for today. How'd I do?
Handy, I thought I was sitting in the studio producing AFR. I mean, that was pretty good.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, let's see if I can draw up some sponsors for that.
There we go.
I'll just do Scone's voice every week. We'll take a break. We are here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery. Get all your tailgating stuff on the way into campus, and they never run out of ice here at Rouse's. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Opposing Media.
Presented by Rev. Fiber fast internet made in Louisiana.
Back here on Eagle 98.1 Game Day live from Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee. Take a look at the Ole Miss Rebels. Earlier this week, Matt Moscona sat down with Neil McCready of RebelGrove.com. We bring you that conversation now.
All right, let's talk about this team, Neil. I think when people think about Lane Kiffin, they always think about the creative offense, the passing. This team obviously has run it so much more. Why has this team been more effective running the football than they have throwing the football?
Matt, I think it's the thing about Lane that doesn't get appreciated enough is that for some reason, I think it's his social media and all that stuff. People think of him as this wide open, crazy pass guy. He's done some of that, but I think it's preferable for him that they're a run-oriented team. And they've got a couple of really good backs in Zach Evans, Quinshon Judkins, the freshman, who's going to be a really talented player. They've been able to run. Their offensive line is better suited for run blocking than it is pass blocking. They've got a quarterback in Jackson Dart who's pretty good with his feet, who's a tough kid, who has been an effective runner when they've wanted to run. So I think it's just that. I think it's what they do well. I mean, if you go back to his years at Alabama, he had a year with Derrick Henry where they ran it and ran it and ran it. And then he had a year with Cooper, the old wide receiver, Amari Cooper, where they threw it all over the place. I just think Lane's gift as an offensive mind, Brian Kelly talked about this earlier this week, his ability to kind of take what his team does well and focus on it and utilize it and maximize it.
How good's the offensive line?
It's very solid as a run blocking unit. It's okay pass blocking. You got a couple of redshirt freshmen at tackle, both right and left. Nick Broker, who's been in the SEC forever, moved from tackle to guard. He's a pretty solid pass blocker. They're okay as a pass blocking group. They're really good as a run blocking group. They're physical. I think they like to kind of get nasty a little bit. They lost their tight end, Michael Trigg, but the guy behind him is Chad Kelly's brother, Casey, who's more of a run blocker than he is a pass blocker. So, I think as a unit, they're more effective in the run game than they are in the pass game.
He's on Twitter at Neil McCready, RebelGrove.com. The offense has had times this year where they've had lulls. I think you and I have talked about that. When they have slowed, what's been the bugaboo?
Oh, it's a great question. As a team, it's the one thing that's really been the most interesting with them is that they have these periods where they look like a top 10 team, like a legitimate top 10 team where you're like, whoa, these guys are good. And then they follow them up with these lulls where they look very average, maybe even a little below average at times. I don't know what that's attributed to, frankly. I don't know whether that's just it's my theory, and it would be nothing but a theory, is that you've got this program where you have a whole bunch of transfer portal guys. They've never really played together. It's a season of first, and I think chemistry is a developing thing that happens over time with any team. And with a team that has this many transfers, it really takes time. I think that's what I'd go with, but I wouldn't want to bet a lot of money on it, man.
Let's flip the field and talk about that defense. And the thing that seems to be the cornerstone is they create pressure, they get sacks, TFLs, turnovers. What's the key to all of that working?
Well, for them, it's pretty basic stuff. They're good up front. Like they're deeper than they've been up front in a while. But there's no Sam Williams on this team. So Cedric Johnson's been hurt the last couple of weeks. His absence has been a big deal for them. They need him healthy. They've got a better year out of Tavius Robinson on the other end than they've probably ever had from him before. He's been very impactful. They're deep at defensive tackle. They've been impactful there. They've got some linebackers. They brought in Troy Brown, a transfer from Central Michigan, who's been really good. He's been kind of banged up the last couple of weeks. I don't know the answer to your question, honestly. Here's the thing about Ole Miss's defense, right, is that so far this season, and look, it's not their fault. They've played the schedule that's been put in front of them, and they've won. But they've yet to play a team that has really had the outside guys that can stress the secondary, that can maybe have big play capability. Some of that with Kentucky with Barry and Brown, but Kentucky's offense is not really set up the way that I'm talking about. I think LSU's kind of is. LSU with Jaden Daniels, he's going to try to extend plays, and they've got those receivers. Boute's fantastic. I mean, the last time Ole Miss played at Tiger Stadium. I think Butte had like 3,000 yards receiving or something like that. So
something like that.
I mean, it was like, I don't know, 3,200 yards or something. I don't remember. I mean, he just kept running. I mean, but nobody's tried that on them. So can they stop that? I don't know. I mean, maybe. They love their corners. They have a freshman named Davis and Igbonosin that they're just super high on. And so far this season, he's been great. But this will be the first big test. So, I mean, they want to put LSU into 3rd and long, and then they've got to figure out a way to contain Daniels, and then they've got to make plays in the open field in much the same way that I've read some of the things you've said and listened to you. And LSU wants Daniels to throw some 50-50 balls to those talented wide receivers, and nobody's done that against Ole Miss so far this year. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. The odds makers have this as a 2-point game, so special teams could be key. LSU's been really bad on special teams this year. How's Ole Miss?
Ole Miss is really good in special teams, Matt. And I think, I do a show with Tyler Siskey, and we were talking about this earlier today. I think there are a couple of disadvantages that are pretty interesting, and I think this is one for LSU that they have to kind of overcome because they've been bad, as you said, on special teams, and Ole Miss has been really good on special teams. I mean, it's probably an area that LSU's probably, if you get inside their building, they're probably a little concerned about it. And, in the same way that for Ole Miss, they probably look at LSU and go, hey, a little worried about those skill guys, a little worried about those guys on the outside. Can we stop them? Can we contain them? And can we prevent the big play from happening against us? Those are probably the things that both programs are talking about.
Hey, Neil, last thing, and always appreciate your time. What is Lane Kiffin's got his blueprint to win this game in Tiger Stadium on Saturday. How does the game look?
For Ole Miss to win it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they continue to run the football. They run it effectively. Auburn stacked the box and didn't work. I think in Ole Miss's ideal world, LSU probably does some of the same stuff. It doesn't work. And then, maybe Jonathan Mingo hits a big play. Maybe they do some of that stuff where they take advantage of LSU having to, put just the math not working out defensively. And then defensively, I think it's pretty simple. I think it's you create some turnovers, you contain Jaden Daniels, and maybe you get him back into that mode where he doesn't want to take chances. And, you build a lead and you make LSU one-dimensional, and you kind of hope for the best at that point. Tiger Stadium is one of those crazy places. You know this a lot better than I do, but it can be a great it typically is a great home field advantage, but sometimes it goes against the home team a little bit. The fans aren't afraid to let the home team know they're a little pissed at them. Yeah. So sometimes that turns on them a little bit. So, I think it's you get ahead, you stay ahead, and you make them a little one-dimensional, and maybe you take advantage of what has been, I don't know if it's a special teams mismatch. I don't think that's the right word, but just one team has been pretty efficient in that category and one hasn't.
Yeah, LSU's been bad, not inefficient. They've been bad. I mean, it's okay to say they've been bad on special teams for sure. All right, Neil McCready from Rebel Grove. I appreciate you, man. We'll see you later.
All right, Matthew. See you soon.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabrielle Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Eagle 98.1.
The Ralph's Market College Football Scoreboard. Ralph's Market, where quality and customer service are a family tradition.
We started the shoe. Number 2, Ohio State with an early lead on Iowa, 10-7. Hey, Iowa got on the board. We weren't sure that was going to happen today. And once again, Ohio State back in the red zone, looking to expand that 3-point lead. Number 3, Tennessee leading UT Martin 14-7. Hendon Hooker has opened up 6 out of 7 for 110 yards in the first quarter. Number 14, Syracuse. Number 5, Clemson are tied at 7. Garrett Schrader has a touchdown pass for Syracuse. Will Shipley a touchdown run for Clemson. Number 21, Cincinnati leads SMU 3-0. Number nothing, they're not ranked. Baylor leading Kansas 14-3. Richard Reese has got a touchdown and nearly 100 yards rushing in the first quarter for Baylor. Army leads UL Monroe 7-3. They've just started the second quarter there. Indiana leads Rutgers 14-0. That is about 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. At the end of one, Houston leads Navy 14-0. Near the end of the first quarter, Akron leads Kent State 7-0, and Duke and Miami about 3 minutes in, and they are scoreless. And those are your games that have started here in the 11 o'clock window. Presented by LouisianaCharterFishing.com, the Catch and Cook Fishing Experience is happening through the end of the regular football season. At the end of the season, one grand prize winner will be randomly selected and notified. The grand prize winner will enjoy lodging and a charter fishing trip for themselves and a friend, along with special guest Chef Jay Ducote. The crew will enjoy a full day of fun on the water, get to go catching with one of Louisiana's best captains, and afterwards, the grand prize winner and their guest will head back to the camp with Chef Jay for an unforgettable cookout and dinner for all. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anybody who loves fishing, food, and fun, and entering to win is easy. All you have to do is visit GoCatch.com and complete the registration form. That's GEAUX Catch.com. They'll also award 5 runners-up, a LouisianaCharterFishing.com prize pack valued at $100. LeBear's countdown to kickoff, 2 hours and 50 minutes. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. It's CBS. 3 hours.
Yep.
3 hours in a little bit. I always forget that part. It's on CBS. We may finish the game in time to get to the show on Monday.
I was about to say we're going to be late tuning into the evening slate here. We might get to Pac-12 After Dark on time, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, right. We'll get the late game from Cal or something. Okay, Jeremy Hill will be with us when we come back. We'll get Jeremy's keys to the V. We are at Rouse's, where you can download the mobile app and get curbside delivery for all your tailgating needs here at Rouse's, where they never run out of ice. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah! Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks.
Eagle 98.1. Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Keys to the beat.
Presented by Coors Light. Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill.
And we welcome back here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery for all your tailgating supplies. We bring in Jeremy Hill now. Will join me on the post game an hour and a half after the end of LSU and Ole Miss. Jeremy, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great right now. Yeah, I'm no service on campus right now. I'm just having a terrible time trying to get on the phone with you guys, bro. But we're here. We made it.
Okay. Well, give me I'll keep the question short then. Tell me your thoughts about how LSU will best attack this Ole Miss offense.
Yeah, I think you got to stop the run. I think you got to devote an extra guy to the box and depend on your corners from the outside. But really, to me, they only have real one receiver threat, and that's Mingo. If you can really cover him and slow him down a little bit, I think that gives you the opportunity to bring that extra man in the box and try to slow that run game down. That's going to be most important.
Jeremy, how much different does this look from what you would consider a normal or a typical Lane Kiffin offense, if there is such a thing?
Yeah, no, I think that's, to me, what makes Lane Kiffin one of the best play callers in this country, because what the best play callers do, it doesn't matter. They're not married to, their system, or married to, hey, we're going to run top five every 2 plays. And they're married to, we do what's best for our roster. And for this Ole Miss roster, they don't have Matt Corral at the quarterback position. They got a transfer guy in the portal. We kind of saw Jaden kind of go through some of those things where if you're learning a new offense, you're still trying to get comfortable. So for Lane, he knows that their best avenue to win football games, that's to run the football. And he does a really great job finding innovative ways with misdirection and counter plays and jet sweeps and other things we're going to see in this game coming up to get that offense going, especially when you don't have a quarterback that's lighting the world on fire.
I've asked everybody this morning this question, so I'll get your opinion. Do you think that Jaden Daniels, with this newfound confidence, has turned a corner, or was it more of a product of Florida's defense?
Well, the purple and gold inside of my veins would definitely say this is a new and improved Jaden, but I think we need to see it one more time. And if he can go out there and replicate that, I think that's something that you can definitely sign to and deliver, because that Florida defense isn't world beaters. It's not 2011 Alabama or anything like that, but Jaden played his tail off. And I think, Coach Kelly, Coach Denbrock, and the rest of that offensive staff, that's the quarterback they envisioned when they named him the starter. So I think he's been in this offense long enough now. He has a lot more confidence back there. It looks like he's a lot more calm in the pocket. He's trusting his receivers downfield. So if he can replicate that this Saturday, I think it'll be great for the Tigers.
Hilly, I wanted to ask you about Josh Williams. I mean, looks like he's definitely earned the trust of the coaching staff. You've seen him in the starting role a good bit this season, especially after the injury to Armani Goodwin. But everyone knows the story with Williams, right? A walk-on or whatnot. He certainly seems like he's starting to come into his own at that running back spot for LSU.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's kind of why you saw in that Florida game why he gained so much favor with his coaching staff, because he runs the ball extremely hard. He's probably our best pass blocking back, and obviously he can catch it a little bit too out of the backfield too. So anytime you got a guy that's kind of doing everything for this program, working hard on and off the field, that's what gets you playing time. And the way he played last week, I don't see him getting any less carries than he's got before. If anything, I think he deserves more touches.
Jeremy, last thing, we'll let you go. Matt hung up on me when I asked him about the special teams, so I'll see if I can get a response from you if you've got any good ideas about how the special teams might improve this week.
Oh, man, I just close my eyes. Just pray to God above that we don't drop another punt or kick return. That's what I'll do, because other than that, things are not going too great for the Tigers. But I was definitely encouraged by some patches of it. I think the field goal kicking unit, looking at that compared to the first week of the season, I think that group is a lot better on than they have. But I think in the return game, we're so used to having Patrick Peterson, Honey Badger back there, Odell Beckham, DJ Chark, and that kind of facet of the game has kind of been stripped away for this team. And the one punt return you did have this season, it got called back. So it's hard to say and make that case right now that, the return game's got a light the world on fire. But we'll see, man. That's why you go out there and practice while you watch the film. I know a lot of people is on totally in for not having those units out there ready to play. They get another opportunity today to kind of turn things around, and hopefully they can do so.
All right, Jeremy, we'll see you in post-game. Enjoy the contest.
All right, man. Have a good one.
We are here at Rouse's. Download the app for curbside delivery.
Running Boards Marketing, they can help your business stand out. Giant LED billboards, trucks, they drive eye-catching ads all around the town. I've seen them myself. They really are impossible to miss. Go ahead, link up with them, advertise with them. Check them out, runningboardsmarketing.com.
We'll check in with the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. When we come back here at Rouse's, this is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
When I was a boy, I spent my days climbing trees, catching fish. Barefoot in the river I walked, listening to crickets, counting stars. This was home. After my stroke, I wondered if I'd make it back to the people and places I love. But I got the right doctors with Blue Cross coverage. Your card matters. Your home does too.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Inside the stadium. Inside the stadium. Presented by GoFlow IV Spa. GoFlow IV Spa, where athletes come to hydrate so they can dominate.
Now back in Rouse's Eagle 98.1 Game Day. Download the mobile app for curbside delivery. Head on down to campus now and talk to the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Chris, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Charlie. What a great morning, man. I mean, the campus is already buzzing, as you might imagine. So looks like everybody's fired up for the game today, and it's going to be a great atmosphere as we all kind of anticipated.
You know, this is one of those things where everything lines up. You got a high-ranked opponent. LSU's coming off of a win. You got great weather, game in the middle of the afternoon. I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere this afternoon in Tiger Stadium. Kind of take me back to last week. That was a real interesting game. You know, LSU fell behind, but unlike some of the other games in the Southeastern Conference, they didn't fall behind more than one score. And I thought one of the big keys was every time that Florida scored, they kept answering and allowed them to stay balanced in their play calling.
Yeah, no, I think, you know, it was weird. A lot of people have asked me this week, Charlie, were you surprised by the output offensively, scoring 6 touchdowns in the first 6 possessions, and again, staying step for step with Florida to kind of tampen down that swamp atmosphere. And the truth is, I don't know that it was surprising that they could do it. I think going to practice and seeing the skill set of the offense, I think it was a surprise they would do it. And I'm talking mainly about Jaden Daniels. And he looked a lot more confident. I give a lot of credit to the offensive line, allowing them to be very multiple on offense, just simply because you didn't see that momentum or surge from the defensive front that you've seen earlier this season. They were able to keep a clean pocket. Jaden had plenty of time, and this time I think was determined not to bail early. And, the big hit to Keyshawn Booty for 40 yards to pick up that first down, that was kind of when everything was off and running. You needed 8 yards. It was 3rd and 8. You needed to answer that opening score, get that to Booty, and then Daniels, I think, settled down, got comfortable from there. So you'd like to see that progress. You'd like to see that continue. Obviously, they'll need to today against Ole Miss, but it was fun to watch. Always fun to beat Florida in Gainesville. And as Coach Kelly, asked the team to do, embrace that type of atmosphere. And, I think they did. They had as much fun there celebrating with the Florida fans, if you will, as the Florida team did.
They're all Tom Petty fans. Who knew?
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I know you're a Jimmy Buffett fan like me, but do you like Tom Petty? Did you?
Yeah, I love Tom Petty. That's why it breaks my heart to go to the swamp and have to listen to them sing it. Although I understand why, but I love Tom Petty. So yeah, we were all singing in the booth as well.
Chris, late in the game when LSU had built the 21-point lead and in Florida made some plays and they got back within a touchdown, I thought that it really showed something. When the momentum gets going in a place like the Swamp, it's sometimes hard to check it up. And I thought that field goal drive and Ramos drilling that 47-yarder. Look, LSU's come in 7 weeks from not being able to make an extra point to send the game to overtime against Florida State to drilling a 47-yarder to put it away on the road against Florida. So I thought they showed a heck of a lot of resolve to check it up right there, put a drive together, and get the score to put the game away.
100% agree. You know, when I look at it, it was not all three phases were clean and perfect by any stretch, but all three phases of the LSU team made plays when they had to make plays, and Ramos certainly the highlight on special teams as he absolutely cranked that one through the upright. But I tell you what I took away from it, Charlie. You've heard Coach Kelly talk for numerous weeks, basically since the start of the season, that what he likes about this team is the fight, the grit, the determination, the never backing down. And he said, we need this team now to go execute. So what I saw last week was the ability to, again, keep swinging. Up 21 points, suddenly it's a 7-point lead. You got to go make plays. You got to execute. And to your point, that's exactly what they did. Now, whether or not they turned the corner last week, I think you get the chance to really judge on that when all is said and done. But I think if, in fact, we look back to that Florida game as the turning point where they execute and then still have that fight that we've seen all year, you know, this is going to be a team I think is going to be fun to watch over the next several weeks.
I got to ask you something about the coaches show, because I was looking through ESPN's headlines on Friday morning where they pulled a quote off of Brian Kelly's show from Thursday night. This is a little bit off the beaten path for football, but it is about instant replay and how they put the quote up. He thinks it's killing the game. I couldn't agree any more with him if I was, screaming right behind him that he's absolutely right on this thing. So I don't know if you figured that was going to go viral or whatever, but it got a lot of attention, I thought.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, we talk about a lot of things in 48 minutes on that show, and I did the same thing. Suddenly I scroll through Twitter, and there's Yahoo Sports, there's ESPN, and then all of the other outlets talking about Brian Kelly going, savage on instant replay. But, it's not the first time he's talked about it. He's talked about it in his press conference. He's talked about it on the show a couple of times. And you can tell he's kind of got an idea of where it should go, which is there are certain plays, change of possession, maybe even scoring, and maybe some other parameters where the replay booth and collaborative replay can step in. Otherwise, let's play the game and also give one coach a challenge flag. And if you think something's egregious, as he put it, then throw your flag. If you get it your way, you get your flag back. If you don't, you don't get your flag back, and we keep moving. So I don't think he's mixing words, that he does not like the instant replay extending the length of these games. And you and I both know that most people on a given Monday through Friday would say they agree until there's a play that happens that doesn't fall under instant replay, and then everybody, sky is falling. So we'll see where it goes and how many people around the sport that have decision-making power, get behind this. But it's pretty clear he wants to get the game moving a little bit. And I think it's because he likes his team having momentum. And when you've got to sit, a minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes or more waiting on a decision, I think it certainly slows everything down, and it has an impact on both teams.
Yeah, the game was never meant to be forwarded frame by frame. That wasn't the intention of this. I remember when this first came up in '78 when the Oilers were playing the Steelers in the AFC Championship game, and Mike Renfro got 2 feet inbounds, and it would have been a touchdown for the Oilers, and they might have gone to the Super Bowl that year, and they missed the call on the field, and they were like, if we had instant replay on this thing, this would work, and it would correct these things. And so they put instant replay in, and 40 years after that, the Saints got hosed on a game. I'm getting off the topic here, Chris.
Don't bring that up, Manny.
Let me talk about the LSU and Ole Miss. Chris, when you look at this Ole Miss team and how well they run the football, how do you feel about the matchup with LSU's defense?
It's interesting because earlier this week, preparing for the game, Charlie, I looked up and realized, wow, that's a lot of yards on the ground, 271. Then I pull over the SEC list, and they're leading the SEC in rushing. And I'm like, wow, that's not what you normally associate with Lane Kiffin. But again, if you follow his career, he's the stereotypical take what the defense gives you. And he's such a good manager and has such a lock on what defenses are doing and how they're dressing things up. That's why he likes to be multiple, with the pass and the run. I think Matt House has done a good job scheming up things. I think when you look at what they did last week against the team in Florida that certainly wanted to run, that was their strength, and there's no question about it. There were a lot of missed tackles. I'm not necessarily sure that the scheme wasn't right. The fits weren't right. On the big run by Richardson, everybody was trying to strip the football instead of making a tackle, and that's how that turned into, that big play. You take that out and then look at the entirety of the game. I thought LSU defensively, schematically, and from an execution standpoint did pretty well against a good offensive line, very good offensive line for Florida, in fact, and stopping the run. So as crazy it may sound, Jackson Dart's certainly a much better passer, I think, than Anthony Richardson. But I think, again, LSU comes into this wanting to force Jackson Dart to beat LSU in the pocket, throwing the football. And I think they'll take that battle on in the secondary. The key to me is going to be first down. I mean, if they can come in and run and get 5-6 yards on first down, and suddenly it's 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, then all of a sudden that playbook massively expands for Lane Kiffin. So if they can get Ole Miss's offense off schedule and, again, don't allow them to be able to run to pick up first downs and force them to throw the ball, I like LSU's secondary against a good, talented Ole Miss receiving corps.
Chris, we're all anxious to see if Jaden Daniels can build on that performance from last week. And I thought starting to see some signs of that the week before. Brian Kelly's been imploring him to trust his receivers, to throw them open, to let them make one-on-one plays. And I thought last week he did a great job of that. And we're all anxious to see if he can continue that progress today.
Yeah, I think so. And to your point, against Mississippi State, he completed one pass of 20 yards or more. Against Auburn on the road, completed one pass for 20 yards or more. And you go back to those 2 weeks leading into it, Coach Kelly said, we got to be a little more aggressive. We got to take some shots. So against Tennessee, albeit in a loss, there were 4 completions of 20 or more. 4 completions last week of 20 or more. And distributed the football to 9 different receivers, 7 receivers with multiple catches. So, if you take just that window alone, Charlie, listening to what Coach Kelly's talked about, what he asked this offense to do, and more specifically, what Jaden Daniels needs to do, you can't argue that the progress has been there. Big question coming into this game will be, will that progress take a step or 2 forward? Because if that happens, suddenly, again, on the back half of the season, LSU is going to be something to contend with, because we all knew from game 1 what Jaden Daniels can do in space running the football. There's no question about that. But now if defenses have to worry, hey, do we want to come after him? Do we want to keep him in the pocket? Do we want to let him get loose and force him to throw? I mean, those are the questions that I think 5 weeks ago defenses didn't know. If this continues, it makes LSU hard to defend.
Chris, bottom of the hour, we hand it over to you guys at the network. What's coming up on pregame?
Well, we're excited to have Beth Torina. We had Jay Johnson a couple of weeks ago before the Tennessee game, kind of a fall ball update for LSU baseball. So Beth's going to stop by. They're hard at work as well for softball. And then Brandon Taylor, Marlon, and Hunt leads that 3-ring circus, as we like to say, and get us ready for kickoff, get everybody ginned up for Ole Miss and LSU.
Somebody was asking me about basketball, and there's a couple of events going on campus this week. We're getting real close to tipping it off. Media Days was last week in the league. So basketball right there around the corner for the LSU Network.
Yeah, Thursday night. It'll be a women's exhibition right here inside the Maravich Center. And 3 decades plus, Patrick Wright going to get warmed up with a little exhibition on Thursday night. So, yeah, round ball, bouncing ball is here.
Chris, we appreciate it. You guys have a good call. We'll talk to you. Hey, take next week off, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks for Alabama.
You too. Sounds good, Charlie. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. The voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. Massive play in the Clemson-Syracuse game. This reminiscent of A&M and Arkansas when K.J. Jefferson turned the ball over inside the 2-yard line, and A&M ran it back the length of the field for a touchdown. This time, DJ Uiagalelei inside the 5-yard line, fumbles on the mesh point. Syracuse picks it up and goes 95 yards for a touchdown. So the Orange have a 14-7 lead. That game is early in the second quarter.
Second turnover for DJ in that game, threw an interception earlier as well.
And that interception was down deep in Syracuse territory?
It was in Syracuse territory.
Yeah.
They turned the ball over twice there, yeah.
All right, so Syracuse has a 7-point lead. We'll give you a full scoreboard when we come back here at Rouse's. Again, download the mobile app for curbside delivery. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Eli has always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there. What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Like the GMC Yukon, taking luxury to the next level. Yukon signals a first-class driving experience before you even take the wheel, with an available 420 horsepower engine and plenty of driver-oriented features. The list goes on, but it's more than just innovative engineering. It's knowing GMC is committed to professional-grade excellence on every level. See your Bayou GMC dealer. Eagle 98.1.
The Ralph's Market College Football Scoreboard. Ralph's Market, where quality and customer service are a family tradition.
And we do go to Clemson, South Carolina. 6:43 to go in the first half, and Syracuse leads Clemson 14-7. Again, the long fumble return for a touchdown is the difference in this one. As Matt told you before the break, DJ Ungalele is responsible for 2 turnovers, that fumble on the mesh point, plus an interception that was in Syracuse territory. Clemson's got the football back. They are back on Syracuse's side of the field. At the shoe, number 2 Ohio State leads Iowa 16-10. 10 minutes to go to the break there. Number 3 Tennessee, no hangover problems with UT Martin, 31-7. That game's early in the second quarter. Number 21 Cincinnati leads SMU 17-0. 11 minutes to go to the break there. Baylor leading Kansas 21-3. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first half in Waco. UL Monroe leading Army 17-7. Indiana leading Rutgers 14-7. Both of those games about halfway through, a little bit better than halfway through the second quarter. Houston leads Navy 14-7. That's also in the second quarter. And Akron leads Kent State 10-7. Late in the first quarter, Miami leads Duke 7-0. Tyler Van Dyke has thrown an early touchdown pass. No score in the 2 WAC games that are underway now. Toledo and Buffalo, and Bowling Green and Central Michigan. Some of the other spotlighted games today. West Virginia is at Texas Tech. That is a 2 o'clock kickoff. Big one in Eugene, number 9 UCLA and number 10 Oregon. A 2:30 kickoff also for number 20 Texas, number 11 Oklahoma State. Watching the availability of Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State quarterback there. Number 25, Tulane in the rankings for the first time since '98. They will play Memphis at Yulman Stadium. That is a 2:30 kickoff as well. Some of the other games that we're watching tonight, number 24, Mississippi State at number 6, Alabama as the Tide tries to bounce back from a loss. Minnesota, the whiteout game at number 16, Penn State. That is a 6:30 kick. Texas A&M going to South Carolina. I never heard anything about that game.
Not much, yeah.
Very much an under-the-radar game.
Aggies coming off a bye.
I wonder if Texas A&M may get home there. Number 17, Kansas State at number 8, TCU. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff. And the late game, Washington and Cal, that's a 9:30 kickoff out in Berkeley. And that is your college football scoreboard here. Download the app here, get all of your tailgating stuff, man. Listen, we've had a wonderful run here at Rouse's. They've been so nice to us. They're so good at bringing us stuff here. We're in the deli section. We're next to the Mongolian Grill, and they brought us so many different things to sample. We're getting so good at this that the next door neighbors at Crave brought us some stuff to eat. They brought us some hot dogs, and they do barbecue and hot dogs, and they brought us some hot dogs to sample. So we'll do that as soon as the show's over. So thanks to the folks over at Crave. It's their grand reopening this weekend. Well, you got a look on your face about this Clemson game. You must have liked the Tigers an awful lot.
I liked the Tigers an awful lot. I don't.
You look like you
them
just got stuck in traffic or something.
I don't like them as much at the current moment. They just went for it on 4th and 2, did not get it. So that's a turnover on downs.
That's 3.
Yeah, it's. Hanny, I don't know if it's that I was such a big believer in Clemson or if I'm just not a believer in Syracuse, but they're making it really hard right now to not believe in them.
Well, Syracuse, look, this is, I don't know, it's got nothing to do with the game later today, but there are some similarities between Syracuse and Ole Miss in that they are undefeated, and if you're undefeated this late into October, you are doing something right, but the resume maybe is not quite as thick as what you would hope, but they have showed up and looked anything but out of place here today against Clemson, and these are forced turnovers. These are not unforced errors. That was a tackle at the mesh point. That was a break on a ball on the interception. I didn't see the 4th down play, but they stopped him. So that's
it was DJ running the ball.
Somebody didn't fall down, right?
No,
they got tackled.
They tackled him short of the line to gain. I'm surprised. I really am genuinely surprised by what's happening there. Now, look, they got a long way to go, and Clemson could obviously pull away or it could stay tight. But early on, I'm surprised.
I am too.
Yeah,
I am too. We'll take a break, come back here at Rouse's. This is Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
I am Juliet, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis, but I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
98.1.
Eagle 98.1 Game Day continues here from Rouse's. Bottom of the hour, seen to the LSU Sports Radio Network on campus and getting you ready for LSU and Ole Miss on what is about as pretty a day as you could ask for. Fantastic weather and what should be a terrific atmosphere today. All right, Moose, what are your thoughts, keys today for LSU?
Well, I like LSU. I will say that. I'm in that same boat with everybody else. It seems like that we've had on today that I do like the Tigers to get it done. I don't think you see exactly what you saw, obviously, last week from the LSU offense. I mean, I'm not sitting here and tell you that Jaden Daniels is going to go out there and throw for 340 yards again, but can he give you 265? I mean, if he does that, I think you're in pretty good shape there. Can you continue to run the ball? I think with the running backs, I should say, Jaden Daniels should have plenty of opportunity. Ole Miss likes to rush the passer. They're near the top of the league in sacks, so there could be some running lanes opened up for Daniels there, although they're going to have to make a decision how much pressure they want to put on him because of that. So I think you carry on consistency offensively this week, which will be good, and that can obviously lead you to the victory here. But defensively for LSU, you got to stop the run. And we've talked about tackling all day on this show, Hanny, and they got to tackle better. It sounds so simple, right? That's a core principle of the game of football, but they've got to tackle Jackson Dart and the running backs.
So for me, it will come down to the red zone defense. I don't believe that LSU is going to shut down this offense completely. I think they will get their yards. If Florida, was able to put up the yardage that they did, then certainly Ole Miss, a better team, and certainly a better rushing team, is going to get their yards. So I've sort of made my peace with that when I look up at the box score after the game, that rushing total for Ole Miss is going to be up probably north of 150, 175 yards. The key is when they get down into close quarters, are they going to be able to punch it in on LSU? Tigers' red zone defense is better actually than I thought when I looked this stat up earlier in the week. 20 attempts into the red zone, only 9 of those have gone for touchdowns. So listen, if you're going to give up big plays, then you're going to lose, all right?
Yeah.
But so if you give up a bunch of big plays and they never get into the red zone because they're scoring from 30, 40, 50 yards out the way Tennessee was, then forget it. But if this is a normal game, a somewhat normal game, and you're putting together drives, then when are you going to get some stops? Are you going to get stops on downs inside the red zone? I would tell you, hold them to field goal attempts. They've only attempted 7 field goals on the season. Captain Analytics over there thinks that field goals are worth nothing, and he's got a lot of company in football.
He does.
It's gotten to be where rather kick a field goal. No, we'd rather have nothing. Okay, but if you can hold maybe a field goal attempt on a 4th down and the distance is too great, or if you can get a stop on downs, then those end up being sort of like turnovers.
And that's actually where I was going to go there next, too, was turnovers. That's something LSU's been very good at this year, is forcing turnovers and not giving the ball away themselves unless it's on special teams. So if you can keep that up offensively and limit possessions for Ole Miss, that leaves you in a very good spot, too, I think, if you're LSU, and something you'll obviously take. And LSU should be able to run the ball today. I mean, do you agree with that? I mean, Auburn ran for 300-plus yards, and we talked that entire show prior to Auburn about how they lacked that identity this year that they always have. They found it against Ole Miss. So I expect LSU to be able to run the ball today as well.
The other thing, of course, is turnovers. And I understand that this is a run-based team for Ole Miss, but Jackson Dart has still thrown 6 interceptions in 7 games. So a turnover would be just a godsend, have it happen in LSU's direction for once. The other thing, if you can make some big plays defensively, and I'm talking about necessarily turnovers, but it's amazing how if you get a 2-yard loss on first down, that second down and 12, you get them off schedule. And if you can get Ole Miss off schedule, the offense has a harder time getting into the rhythm that they've gotten into against all of these other teams. Those things happen in a road venue, and you can really start to feel the pressure. Somebody asked me, I was doing a show in Lafayette this morning, asked me about Ole Miss's defense. I said, well, they've had a couple of luxuries. Number one, they've gotten a lot of turnovers, and they've gotten 13 turnovers, second most in the league, and LSU can't allow that to happen today. LSU's been pretty good about protecting the football. And the second thing is they've played with the lead the whole year. I think Ole Miss has been behind for maybe 6 minutes the whole season. It may not be exactly that number, but it's not a lot more than that. When you are playing with the lead and you are playing at home, the pressure subsides a lot. That's why I said last week, listen, LSU answered all of those touchdowns, and it allowed them to stick with their game plan, to maintain some balance, and you don't feel like you've got to score 2 touchdowns on every play. And against Tennessee, it certainly felt like that. And for a while, it felt like that against Mississippi State and Auburn, even a little bit against Florida State. So keep yourself on schedule and maybe play with the lead here for a little while and see how Ole Miss reacts to some adversity.
Is this the first week we didn't mention get off to a fast start for LSU? I think
right.
It might be. I think it might be.
And of course, it's always it's always good to get off to a good start. I'm not disputing that. Not disputing that at all. What I'm telling you is make your opponent uncomfortable. Okay, they haven't been uncomfortable
all year,
very much over the course of the season. So make them uncomfortable and see how they react to the pressure. Let me ask you about Lane Kiffin. We had this discussion on the show yesterday. This is a pretty good job that he has done at Ole Miss. And when I say a pretty good job, I don't mean just this year. I mean since he's gotten there. You get shoved in the COVID year. So you don't get to know your team nearly as well as you would in a normal. And transition years are tough regardless. So you do that in the COVID year. You go 5-5. It's not bad. Last year, 10-3. They went to the Sugar Bowl, and Matt Corral was hobbling, I would say, every game after the Tennessee game. I mean, he gutted it out all the way in, and they lost him in the bowl game. But he was really the heart and soul of what they did. And he was hobbled in the second half, and they still managed to put all that together. Now you get out of the gate 7-0. Ole Miss hasn't been 8-0 since 1962. They win this game today. They win a game at A&M next week. If he comes home against Alabama undefeated, they're going to erect a statue and have a parade for this guy. But I wonder if this is Kiffin's, if the success continues, if this is Kiffin's last stop or not.
I don't know if it is. I think if the success continues, I think he does get another opportunity that he potentially takes. I mean, Ole Miss, I think everyone always brings up limitations there. I mean, they can do a lot of things, but there are some limitations where.
Can you win a national championship there?
I think no. I don't think that you can. So and I think Lane Kiffin, it took him a while to get here, Hanny, but this is kind of the coach that everybody thought he could be, when he was young with the Raiders, okay, then to Tennessee and USC. But this is kind of what you thought he could be as that young coach. And I think he's got the ability to lead a team to national championship. I think you're seeing that at Ole Miss. I just don't know if you can get there at Ole Miss. But he's been great for them, and I mean they're enjoying success that they haven't had in a long time.
I wonder if the playoff format may change his mind a little bit, and here's why.
That's a good point.
I don't think that Ole Miss gets into a 14 playoff other than once in a lifetime maybe. But in a 12-team playoff, Ole Miss can be one of the 12 best teams in the country. Right now, are they one? If they're not, they're close. They're ranked ahead of that. But again, the resume is a little bit light. But they could be. I could see Ole Miss in a 12-team playoff get in, okay, with maybe a 10-2 record one year, and get hot for 3 games. Is it likely? No. But in the current setup, I think it's almost impossible for any team in the bottom half of the Southeastern Conference, revenue-wise, to get into that discussion for the top 4. I mean, look at some of the programs that have not been. I mean, Florida has all the budget you could want and hasn't gotten in. Texas A&M has more budget than Florida, and they haven't gotten in to a 14 playoff. I mean, it's like what does Brando call it? The cartel.
The cartel.
You can't. But 12 teams. You can get inside at 12. I think
that's an interesting caveat to throw in there, and I think that actually changes.
Plus the statue in the parade,
the statue in the parade. That's going to change a lot with coaching carousel around the country when the playoff does expand, not just Lane.
So if Auburn calls and offers after the season,
you can win there. We know that.
Yeah, the last guy that left Ole Miss and went to Auburn had an undefeated season. He didn't get to play for the national championship, but he had an undefeated season. So that would have been a no-brainer before. Now, I don't know as much. All right, LSU and Ole Miss going to kick this thing off. Our LeBeige countdown to kickoff is just a little bit outside of 2 hours right now. Thanks to our good friends in television land. The postgame show will come up 90 minutes after the end of LSU and Ole Miss. Syracuse scores again, 21-7 on Clemson, so an upset brewing over a top 5 team. Thanks to everybody for participating. Thanks to our hosts here at Rouse's. Again, don't forget to download the mobile app for your curbside delivery. They're never out of ice. Get a draft beer while you're shopping here at Rouse's, Burbank at Lee. From Matt Musso and all of us here at Rouse's, everybody back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Enjoy the game. LSU and Ole Miss. This has been Eagle 98.1 Game Day.
Let's see it.